You're going to have to tell me. We're live?
We're live.
We are currently live.
Whoa. Hey, everyone watching, which is probably no one right now.
It's literally no one. So now we have to make an announcement.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So can you do that, Rod? And I'll introduce the video that people will watch in the future.
Yes.
Awesome. Hey, everyone. Welcome to whatever we titled this, Copy for the Copy God, I think. I'm Alex. This is Rod, and that's Lindsay. And we're going to be, I guess, tearing apart some of our patrons' copy because mainly because we don't like them. But it might help them out too. So, you know, it's kind of good for the channel, etc. I think we're very much looking forward to it. And if you are watching this and you are a beginner copywriter or a moderate copywriter, or you're just generally interested in copywriting, I'd recommend sticking around because I think we're going to have some deep discussions about what makes copy good and bad and the things you should absolutely avoid. I've just had a quick skim over the stuff we're going to be looking at today, and I already have quite a few things that I really need to say and get off my chest because I've worked with a lot of juniors. I know Lindsay has as well, and then Rod, you've been in the copy world for a good couple of years now. And I see these things happen time and time again. I would love to stop it from this video forward. So if you're watching this, stop doing the things that we're going to talk about, or do them if it's good. All right, Lindsay, anything to add to that spiel?
Well, I mean, I think the first thing, which I have to get off my chest, is just I think moving forward for the copy critiques, we're going to ask y'all to give us some basic context with your submission so we understand a little bit about the audience, you know, cold, warm, like who are you talking to, and just some basic context. I think it'll help us a lot. So look for that in the future.
Yeah, 100%. And Rod, what about you?
Yeah, I just, plus one on that. We'll probably just make a template or something. Just you can stick at the top of your document or with your posts. So don't worry too much about it. But we say this over and over again, but your copy, the most important thing about your copy is the context in which it exists. And so if we don't know who you're writing to or why you're writing or what it is,
we can't do our jobs of effectively critiquing you, right? Like we may say something that just doesn't apply because it's not the context of what you're doing. So
yeah, you may be advertising the best poop scooper in the world, but if you're showing that to a coal mine worker who doesn't have a dog, doesn't matter. So yeah, I don't know what. Okay, hey, it's been a long day. But yeah, thanks everyone for joining. So for patrons, we will get you a proper kind of template to fill out at the beginning of these. If anyone is watching this whose copy we're about to critique and they haven't done that, then feel free to drop in the comments. Basically just who is this going to, what's it trying to do, and then what have they seen before. So if it's part of a sequence or a funnel, it'd be good to know, right, where is it meant to come in that process. Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Okay, guys, unless you have anything else to add, I think we should...
Let's get in it.
One last thing, because Evan in chat just pointed this out. Also, if you're just posting in the regular community critique channel, the same sort of info is super helpful for anyone who's reviewing your stuff. And so, just keep that in mind when you ask for any kind of help, or even if you're just messaging your friend for critiques. So, yeah.
100%. All right, fantastic. Rod, you are the controller.
I am the controller. So let me share my screen real quick. You guys will have to tell me if you can see this properly. It's probably a little bit too small.
That's coming through for me. Is it coming through for you, YouTube people?
Yeah. Can you guys? Is this legible? If not, I can make it a little bit bigger.
I need some confirmation, people. Yes, can you see it? Drop a yes in chat if you can see it. I love saying that. I love saying that and then people doing it. If they don't, then it seems like
then it's like you're talking to yourself.
That happens more than not. Yes. Yeah. Cool. Thank you, Evan.
Okay, excellent.
There's a delay.
Beautiful. All right. Okay. How did you guys do that? Because I was on the last one of these. I nearly broke my foot, I think, or on the one before that. So I wasn't here. I'm here now. How did you guys do these before? Do you like going just kind of round robin, one at a time, or we all just kind of tear into it at the same time?
So usually we'll read the beginning. So we'll read the subject, read the first bit until we get to a stopping point. So either when you find a problem with it or it just seems like a good stopping point, and then we'll talk about it. We don't have to go through the entire thing if we feel like there's a more fundamental problem just that we should address before we get to the end. But you know, it really is just like giving value in terms of like things we think could be improved in whatever shape it takes.
Perfect. Well, Rod, you have the best speaking voice, so please proceed.
That's the nicest thing someone said to me today. Thank you. This really means a lot. And just to answer this question in chat, how long will this be? We're gonna go until 5 p.m. So a little, like just under 2 hours from now, we're gonna have a hard cutoff. No stops, no extensions, no extensions. So we'll get as far as we can, and if not, we'll try to get you guys next time. So yeah, so this looks like an email that we've gotten from somebody. Let me see if I can find this person real quick, just to give you a shout out. We got an email from James Lang called Spec 3. The subject line is why packing perfume for your holiday is a risk. Very spooky indeed. Hi, name. It's no secret your luggage is thrown about when being loaded on the plane. Think about your glass bottle of perfume stuffed in the suitcase, even though you've wrapped it up with a nice floral top. Is that enough to protect it from the manhandling? There's a chance it can smash, plus a chance that the air pressure during the flight will cause the bottle to leak. That would be a lovely smelling disaster, and it will leave you with no perfume for the trip. But at least your bag will smell nice. Do you take the gamble, or do you leave your perfume safe on your shelf? For most of us, we would take that risk. A whole holiday without smelling good? No thanks. You can remove the gamble entirely, though. Smell great and leave the bottle safe at home. A simple trick that'll only take a minute. You'll even have time to do it even when rushing through that last-minute packing. You won't have that worry in the back of your head before your flight. You won't waste any effort stressing. You'll have that confidence knowing you will smell amazing the whole trip. And what's even better, the heavy glass bottle won't weigh your bag down. Click here to save yourself the hassle of cleaning up after your broken perfume.
All right. I'm going to start off by saying that if I was actually critiquing this, which I guess I am, but if I was critiquing this, not for the sake of the public, I would have stopped at the subject line. The reason I wanted Rod to finish all of that was basically just to kind of highlight the point of that used a lot of words to say basically one thing, number one. The more fundamental problem of this is there's no context, as we were kind of saying at the beginning, for who this is for. So have the people on the list, by the way, when we say list, we mean the people who are receiving this email. Have the people on the list, like, have they said that this is a problem they're experiencing? Or is this just going to a random group of people? Have they bought something related in the past? Do we know this is an issue they have? That's the first thing we need to even break down here, because if it's not, this is such a specific problem that it certainly doesn't apply to me. I mean, I don't wear perfume anyway. Lindsay, I mean, I don't know if you wear perfume or not, but if you did, would this apply to you?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it applies to me. I'm a woman. I wear perfume. This email just, the way that it's written, it's just worded in a way, it's just a lot of fleshing out a problem that I feel I don't have, right? That you said, Alex. Like, you know, first of all, we're missing some context, and you know, part of that's our fault for not soliciting it from you guys. Like, we'll do better about asking for that context. But like, I'm wondering, is this gonna lead me to some? I don't know where it's leading. Is it like some sort of special bubble wrap that's like gonna go around this perfume? I don't know. Is it particular to just perfume, or is it just any glass bottles? But you know, like having a holiday without smelling nice, you know, things like, it's just not really a problem that's like flying in my face every single day that I feel like I need to solve now. So for me, it's just, I think that's where I kind of check out a little bit. It's just kind of going on and on and on and on about a problem that really just does not feel overly problematic to me, right? You know, like the chances of my stuff breaking, you know, it's just hammering on and on about this problem that is so specific, and very few people have, you know, strong feelings about.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I'm thinking about ways you could, like, if you were to feel like if this was the one angle that you knew worked and you just had to figure out a way to make it work in the copy.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe a better approach would be just to really, really lean into it almost to an absurd level. Because when you list out, and you can think if this works for any problem you have in real life, if you just write down what your problem is, it almost never feels as real or as bad as like the problem actually is for you experientially.
Yep.
And so if you want the copy to reflect the way that the problem actually feels in real life, you often have to overwrite the copy, like in terms of hyperbole, to like an absurd level in order for it to like actually resonate with the audience. And so rather than go with this, hey, what happens if the bottle breaks? What happens if this? What happens if that? Just be like, you know, your bottle exploded, and so now you're stuck in Egypt smelling like the back of a camel's behind while your luggage smells like, I don't know, an oasis. You know, that's silly, obviously, but just be really, really expressive. Try to visualize like what the experience looks like rather than what the problem literally is. Because like, yeah, sure, it's broken, but like, what does that mean for your trip? What does that mean for the person? What does smelling like the back of a camel's asshole feel like in Egypt? That's what I want to know.
What you're explaining is the difference between show versus tell, right, Rod? Okay. And we talk about that a lot in copywriting, rather than just telling people what the problem is, right? Painting a picture for them to draw out those emotions and those different scenarios that may be more relevant to a broader range of people.
Mm-hmm. And I want to go a step further than this, and I want to make it even simpler. And this is another reason it's really important for us to know the context, because if I knew where this was going, I could potentially have a solution for this email in like one swoop. So let's say, like Lindsay said, let's say it's going for some specific bubble wrap, which is for wrapping around glass, for example. That is an e-commerce product. It's something you have to buy, and it gets shipped to you physically. And you have something and it serves a very specific function. You don't just buy that for, fun. You don't buy it because you feel like it's going to satisfy a deeper emotional need. You buy it because it's going to protect some glass in a suitcase. Here's how you can make this really, really simple. And if you knew that, and this, I'm taking this as read, if you knew that perfume bottle smashing really was a problem for this audience, which I'm going to assume that it is, you know that, and you know that's the product that you are taking. This email would be far stronger if you just showed an image, a diagram of the bubble wrap around a perfume bottle. That is almost all you would have to do. And this is a really important lesson that I think beginners need to learn, especially beginners who kind of get wrapped up in the world of copywriting, is that a lot of copywriting they will kind of look at is in the info space and like financial and health and stuff like that. And they'll read very long sales letters and they'll go like, right, this is the way to write good copy. So I'm going to just mimic the style. You should mimic what it's doing. You shouldn't mimic the style. And for e-commerce products, a picture really does mean 1,000 words. Demonstration is the most powerful thing that you can do. So the subject line, for example, again, let's say that it is a problem that perfume is getting smashed in suitcases. Let's just dissect that subject line for a second, which is why packing perfume for your holiday is a risk. If I already have the problem of my perfume being smashed, I know it's a risk already. So it's kind of, you could be far more immediate to that problem they've had. Even just no more smashed bottles in luggage, right? Exclamation point. That would be better. Because what this email, another kind of flaw this email has is that it's trying to take the reader through the stages of awareness extremely quickly on something that, do you actually know that this is a problem? Why packing perfume for your holiday is a risk? That isn't a problem-aware subject line, because you're trying to educate me on a problem I don't have. That's unaware. Is someone who doesn't know they have that problem going to be interested by a subject line that is not relating to something they already know? Well, no, not really. So that's one immediate flaw with it. It's trying to do too much in one email. But if it is going to people who know that, they hate perfume bottles being smashed, then you can be far more direct with the subject line and just show the thing that is going to be solving that for the person. All you need to say is one line about, God, don't you hate when this happens? It's so annoying. One line, maybe a flurry of dimensionalization, i.e., being a bit jokey, being a bit like, your bags will smell better than you do for the whole trip. That's funny. It's cool. It kind of brings you a bit closer to the brand. I like it. That's 2 lines. That could be 1 line. Here's the product. It's really good. Plus it, and then just a benefit of the product. Like, you can cut it up so you don't have to take loads of it. It goes around any size bottle. Like, it's super cheap, and you can get a bunch of it right now, and then your holidays are covered for the next 10 years, right? Wow. Okay, I'm gonna buy it. You can just do that in this if they're problem aware and they already have that issue. You don't need to be, kind of spiraling out into all this what is basically fluff, which is why it's not even worth us going through this line by line and saying this is fluff, this is fluff, this is fluff, because to be honest with you, 90% of it is fluff. So again, and this is called copy for the copy god, guys.
I mean, yes, and Alex, I did not want to interrupt you because that was really good and valuable just at a general level. We got some context from JC. So audience is problem aware, age 20 to 30. The product is a travel atomizer, so you can decant your perfume into a small spray tube.
Right. Okay. Cool. So problem aware, so they know they have this problem. So the first thing I'd say is what I went back to, which is that if they have this problem, then you can shout about it in the face. I don't know if, again, I don't actually know if this is a problem where bottles do smash a lot. That may not even be the best angle. It may be another angle, maybe, through airports, you can only take a certain level of liquid, although I think they're getting rid of that. That could be another angle. Are you annoyed that you can't take your bigger perfume bottle because you're only allowed this on a plane, potentially? But if you know that this is a problem, then you can be far more immediate with it. And then if you know what the product is, then again, you could just explain that in the email. It's the kind of thing where it doesn't have to be a long build-up through a funnel. It can just be, this is a thing, it's solving your problem very immediately because you have an immediate problem. It does its job. That will convince 80% of people if it genuinely does solve their problem in the e-commerce space, because it's a very functional problem that someone has.
Nice.
Yeah. Anything else to add? Sorry, I kind of took that one because I see this a lot with beginners, especially beginners kind of taking that info style and putting it into kind of physical products.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we're just to kind of drill down and drill home what you've been talking about, if the audience is problem aware, look at all of this super valuable real estate right at the beginning. You're basically, even though you wrapped it up, you're just, reiterating that problem. You're re-educating them. There's a chance it can smash. No. Like, this is all super valuable real estate that you don't want to spend a whole lot of time kind of like restating and just more fluff, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And JC just said, so would you say to write less for functional problem? Yeah, and I mean, the stages of awareness is something that I think we reference a lot for beginners, but I think it can cause a problem in that you think, right, there are 5 stages. I have to deal with each one very individually and drag it out. For an e-commerce product where they're already at that problem aware stage, they already know I want this thing fixed, and you can just fix it very quickly. You don't need to do much more than just show them this product is going to do what you want.
Get right in the solution, right? Make them solution aware a lot faster.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's nothing about solution in here. This is all just reiterating on the problem, right?
Yeah, and I don't blame you. And it's because, we discuss financial copy, especially a lot on Copy That, and it doesn't work for financial copy. You couldn't turn a promo into, hey, get richer, right? You can't do that. But that's because of the nuance of someone who is interested in, protecting their family's wealth or getting in on the next big trend and feeling like they're a pioneer. There are far more nuanced kind of drivers to someone like that, as opposed to, hey, I just want to make sure I can get to Jordan and smell nice, or Egypt. Sorry, Rob. I messed that up. All right. So yeah, I hope that helped, JC. I hope that wasn't too aggressive. I'm trying to be a bit more aggressive than usual because I'm trying to play it up with,
we got to live up. We got to live up to that thumbnail.
Exactly.
It's true. JC, before we move on to the next one, do you have any questions for us about any of this real quick? Just since you're here.
Yeah. I'm going to take the time to open up the next one.
Okay.
Got Leadership Accelerator.
Jay said, that's what you call aggressive. I'm English. I don't do angry very well.
He's calling you out. That's a challenge.
I do mildly like inferior. I go like tut. I do tutting very well. All right. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you, JC. I hope it helped.
What was the next one you said you were opening up, Lindsay?
I've got Leadership Accelerator.
Leadership Accelerator.
It was the second one posted. Yep.
All right. I'll let someone else take this one primarily.
CF.
Right. Would you like to read this one for us, Lindsay? Obviously, it's very long.
I can read it.
So...
I mean, let's. It's a lot for us to critique a landing page. So why don't we just get through the most important part, which is right at the beginning, right? Above the fold and then just slightly below. Okay, so right up above, we've got get our case study program for a limited time offer that will boost your leadership skills. Make 2023 the year you unleash the power of a performance culture. Leadership Accelerator, build a performance culture and expand your leadership capacity. A 6-session program from North Star Leadership. $7,500 or 6 payments of $1,300 for up to 12 seats. Learn to build a performance culture and lead your teams with confidence so that you can grow your business free of setbacks and constraints. Managing and leading teams under pressure can feel overwhelming. Unfortunately, lots of training programs make it worse by not teaching them practical skills needed to build a high-performing team. North Star's program is different. Do you want to bring out the best in your people? How would it feel if your teams were self-motivated? What would it be like if you never felt overwhelmed with responsibilities ever again? Can you do that in business? Teach me. Build a performance culture. I'm going to click that. I don't know where it goes. By the end of the 6-session program, you will be able to communicate with empathy, build trust throughout the organization, inspire and motivate your team intrinsically, identify your most effective leadership style, engage with individuals to develop influence, deliver results more effectively, and maintain balance. Ooh, good. We really recommend anyone wanting to develop staff to send their staff here. Sorry, I had a question. Through the guidance and encouragement, we left feeling more confident and capable. We really enjoyed training in humor. Do you guys want me to continue? What do we think?
I certainly have things to say, but I don't want to go off on another.
I think that's probably a good place to at least pause.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Let's scroll back up. Okay, so this is a leadership accelerator. I am going to assume if the who submitted this? CF, Carl Fry.
Yes.
Carl, if you are on this and you want to, feel free to write in the chat, give us some more context if you feel it would be relevant for us. But my basic assumptions about this is that, Carl, you are writing for a leadership training program that basically goes out to businesses and you invite them to send their managers or higher level executives off on a week retreat, whatever, let's call it a meeting, and you educate them on how to gain leadership skills. Is that your guys' understanding of this?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So let's see. So let's get into this. First thing, get our case study program for a limited time offer that will boost your leadership skills. That's a dead link. So I don't know what that is, but I like that you're drawing attention to case studies. I think, first of all, the first thing that kind of jumped out at me when I was reading this one before is that I want to see social proof of this. I want to see evidence of companies that have used it in the past. For me, like if I am looking to send my team to a training program, I already feel like I have, maybe maybe it's speaking to me because I feel like I have a problem with some of my executives. Maybe my team's just not performing what I want. I like to see the social proof elements kind of up high. We have, some good ones in here. I would maybe give an indication of that, like above the fold, like as used by NetHub, as used by, I don't know who Rebecca Birch is with.
I mean, I just want to say, I just went on
Yeah.
their website on another tab, and they have done something with the MOD, which in the UK is the Ministry of Defense. So that's
Wow.
like our, I guess, what do you guys call it? The Defense Ministry?
Department of Defense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
DoD.
DoD, yeah. So like that right there
I mean,
is
yeah,
whoa,
like
these guys teach the Ministry of Defense how to lead. Whew.
exactly. So, I mean, that is something that needs to be, in my opinion, that needs to be above
Yeah.
the fold. Like the leadership accelerator used by, the Ministry of Defense, like somehow that needs to be communicated quickly, in my opinion.
Like right below this image. Like who
Yeah,
cares
right
about
below
price?
this image. But what do you guys think about the price right under this image?
I don't like it.
I don't like it. I would bail.
Yeah, just delete that. Like there's like they don't know what it is. You haven't had the opportunity to anchor this price in any way whatsoever, and so it's sort of irrelevant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They don't
absolutely.
know what that is actually really for.
Yeah, like here's the thing: price can be used as a weapon, or
Yeah.
it should be hidden until you are ready to reveal it. Because if you're undercutting the whole market and your price is just so great that it's like, whoa, that's pretty incredible. Or if you are marketing to a group of people who appreciate seeing the price immediately, and believe I have written to people like that where they just want to know, right, what is it? What does it do? Show me the price. There are some people in some lists which you need to do that for. Think about the kind of person who's going to be looking at this. It's going to be someone who's looking to invest in their team. Someone who probably has a company budget to cover this. The price isn't going to be something they're worrying about too much at this point, and it's not too much of an issue. Like either way, because it's not their money, they can probably swing it. And two, they want to know it's the right thing first of all.
Yes.
So it's not something you need to come out swinging with.
Yeah.
And like what is included in that package or whatever. The other thing I think about with price a lot is like you don't know exactly who's going to be landing on the page, and you can end up in a situation where you actually lowball the price to a point where you scare someone away who might be looking to pay more. But if you can like make them feel like it's a premium product ahead of time, even if your price is on the lower end, like they may still be interested. But if you just list your price up front with no context, like you can end up kind of getting screwed from both directions.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that you can use if like you're wanting to aggressively qualify people right off the bat, like it's okay to have price relatively up high, but I just don't think that this is doing enough work just to explain it first, right? To sell it first for price to be there. I'm also just a little confused because it says get our case study program for a limited time offer. So are you offering it at a discount? And if so, the price that you're including there just doesn't give me any indication of if that's the discounted price, or like I'm just not really sure.
There's a lot going on here, and some of it is a bit confusing.
Yeah,
that's the first. If I had to paint a brush over this whole thing, it's slightly. You're hitting me with too many things. You've mentioned performance culture, leadership accelerator. There's a case study I can get, boosting my leadership skills. It's a limited time offer. The price is there. It's like, right, okay, what thing do you want me to concentrate on first?
And I don't know if you guys noticed this, but the link in that the Get Our Case Study program,
it's broken. Yeah.
One, it's broken, but two, it's also to a YouTube video that no longer is available. But like, you don't want to be driving people off of your landing page as soon as they get there. And if that video is super important, just have that be an embed at the very top that they can click.
The only thing you should be linking to in your, I'm assuming that it was an order form. Like it should, if somebody comes to this and it's like sold, like leadership accelerator, sign up. I got unlimited budget. My team sucks. Like as many accelerators as possible. But like that should go. Yeah, that should absolutely go straight to an order form. If it doesn't, then get rid of it.
Yeah, I think. So I think two things I noticed. One, I think this is a dev site, which might be why the links aren't working. So it's dev.all.
That's fine.
But I think the only exception to that would be, my assumption is that this is landing page you're sending people to, It's clearly, it's clearly not a homepage. So this is being navigated to by specific links. To your point, Lindsay, I think the only exception I would make would be if you are linking to an actual case study that is related to the page, and it's basically either just like a pop-up, or it's, you can potentially capture an email there, but it has to be related to this thing that you're doing, and it has to be about these people went on this course,
Yes.
went on this set training, and they had these results. Like, that's why it's so good. As long as you're keeping them in that, flywheel of this universe. But if it's just a random lead magnet, it's like,
no, yeah, absolutely. And just whatever you link off to, that's fine. Like, if you want to look at testimonials and case studies, and it's just like a ton of social proof, just as long as it's doing what Alex explained, that same, just in that same flywheel, and there's an opportunity for them to do the same thing, which is sign up or order, or this basically the same action to take, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Matt E had a cool comment. He was saying that an interesting spin on, given the MOD reference that you said, Alex, an interesting spin would be to take something like when the doctors get sick, this is what they do headline, and use something like who the defense ministry turn to when they need leadership training.
That's cool. I like that. I think I do. That's quite fun. The one thing I'd say, and this is just a realistic business thing now. Sometimes, so the person who submitted this, you may be watching this and then go to, you might own the business, and you might be like, we can't really say that because the MOD don't want us to quote them too much, which is always a shame. So like, fair enough, you can't do that, but that is quite a cool idea. I like that. If you go hard on, like, we trained like the nation's leaders, I like that. I think that's a good angle.
I do. Like, I think in general, this is a very simple message. I really like the headline, make 2023 the year you unleash the power of a performance culture. As someone who has been a leader in a business, I immediately, leadership accelerator, big and bold, I immediately know what this is. I know that it's speaking to me as, the business head or whatever. Build a performance culture. I like that term, a performance culture. And expand your leadership capacity. I do like that. And then it's very clear that it's a 6-session program from North Star Leadership. I think that if I'm, generally unaware of North Star Leadership, just, what we spoke about earlier, just immediately putting some social proof up there, since we have it and it's great social proof, that would be an easy thing to kind of pull up and just put it, instead of the pricing right there, just put it right under that.
Yeah. You can even fit it on this graphic itself if you want to reuse this in other places also.
Exactly. Yeah, like some logos and like 5 stars, whatever. Love it.
Yeah, I would say that the one thing it's lacking for me is the kind of, it's what idea are you going for here? It's sit down and go, right, what is the thing that we want to cultivate when someone is reading this? Do we want to hinge everything on like performance culture? And do we want to make that the IP, if you like, of what we're talking about? Like, we can build you a performance culture in your company. And that is then the theme of the landing page. Because something that, this isn't like the only way you can do it, but something I know a lot of leadership courses and not even just leadership, but kind of info products where it's courses and it's programs and it's accelerators. One thing they very commonly do is they will say, like, it's all about doing this one thing, building this one, like, getting this one secret, like, into your arsenal. And they'll put up a phrase and it'll be like, it's all about building this. And they'll repeat that throughout the landing page and say, this is how we're going to do this. And then they'll break it down into modules.
Yes.
And say, is that the angle you want to go with? Or do you want to go a bit, maybe slightly vaguer, but hinge onto, as Lindsay said, like, social proof. This covers everything, and here's how you do it. Because if there's something that I want to see with a leadership program, it's that it's modular. It's that this is going to be set out for me, and it just is going to cover exactly what I need to know. And I want to know, first of all, that other people have done it and they liked it, that it sets a clear idea of what they're doing. These people know what they're doing, and that all the thinking has been done for me. That all I have to do is show up and go through it, and I will be a leader. And a really good way to do that is to set out modules. to set out like, here are the things that you're going to go through. And right now, I'd say there's a bit too much of, I guess, maybe buzzwords would be my thing, is like, communicate, inspire, engage, and then there's just so many bullets that they're all kind of saying vague leadership things. If you could instead modularize it, that's probably not a word, into, if you guys know what I mean?
I definitely, I agree with that.
They go on to do that a little bit later.
The problem is like what Alex said, is it's just very scattered. Like we just got these three, these like 3 bullets, and then by the end of this 6-session program, you will be able to, and then like it just seems a little bit like rather than like like logically modularized, it seems like it's trying to communicate that message piecemeal, and it just seems a little bit scattered to me.
I think that if you could, I guess, when you're watching this replay, CF, if you could integrate, because the section below the one you guys are looking at right now is just like how this works. And session 1 is this, session 2 is this, session 3 is this. If you could like weave that in a little bit more seamlessly, I think that it would feel a little bit less sudden or less jagged.
Yeah. I mean, here's what I would do to improve this page. Here's what I do, and this is especially for beginners. This is an important piece of advice, because I think it's almost a shortcut. Have a look, and I'm talking to you now, person who submitted this. Go and have a look at what other leadership accelerators and the like do. How do they make their pages? Then just template it. You don't have to copy it, but just template it. You don't have to use that template. But what it's going to help you do is it's going to help you break down, like, okay, this is the kind of thing they go into here. This is what they seem to be doing. They're repeating this again. And it gives you more of an idea of, all right, have they thought about exactly how they're structuring this page? That's number one thing I would do, is just have a look, because that will spark some inspiration. Second thing I would do, have a look at your product, i.e. the course, the program, and break it down into, okay, what is it? It seems like you've done that, as Rob was saying. But break it down and go, right, logically speaking, how does everything separate? How many lessons are there? Get all the facts and features about your product. And this goes for everyone, so new copywriters too, whatever you're writing for, get all the facts and features out in front of you. And then lay it out logically. Right, okay, here are how these different things group together. Here are the facts, i.e. it takes 6 weeks. There are 23 lessons. We cover this, this, and this. And that's just going to help you to compartmentalize everything, and then you can start to put the pieces together. This kind of reads like it was written as, okay, I kind of know what the course is about. Now I'm just going to write like stuff about leadership. But instead, if you can take your prospect through a very logical journey of, hey, you're going to learn this thing, and we're going to uncover this thing. And what you're doing is you're almost taking them through the experience of the program, but in a bite-sized chunk. So then they want the rest of it. Because it's like, God, well, this has been really joyful to read. And I feel like I've learned something here. And I feel like these people know what they're talking about. So once you have that down and you have a kind of template in mind and you've worked out how you're going to take them through that journey, then you can worry about the specifics of the copy itself. The first thing is the structure.
Evidence of the issue that we've been talking about is, like, if you scroll down, Rod, if you wouldn't mind, by the end of this 6-session program, you will be able to, so if you scroll to the top, you will be able to communicate with empathy, build trust throughout your organization, inspire and motivate your team intrinsically. So there's that section, but then, you scroll through, you've got some testimonials there, discover the power of a performance culture. And then you get down here again, the 6-session program teaches you practical skills, will help you increase your leadership capacity. You'll be able to communicate effectively, inspire others, engage. So it's like repeating the same exact stuff, and when I see this is just evidence to me that the copywriter hasn't yet crystallized that structure that Alex just talked about, right? Mm-hmm. Like they're just leaning into buzzwords or leaning into things that they think they should be saying in an effort to try to overcome that feeling that they don't yet have a structure for writing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It also, as someone who's done this before, or rather many, many times, this is classic. I've sat down to write this in multiple sessions, and so each time I come back and revisit the page, I have effectively rewritten what I've already written because I'm starting over again. Just make sure that when you are writing these things that you're actually rereading before you start writing, because you are prone to repetition otherwise.
Yeah, and it all starts with a plan. It starts with having a look what other people do, having a look what your product is, and then planning it out. And I guarantee you, even if that plan isn't perfect, and even if the copy isn't perfect, the fact that the reader now thinks that there's some structure to what you're talking about, it makes them feel far more confident in what you can offer and what you can deliver.
Yeah,
believe me. And the interesting thing, and people watching this, one thing you'll notice is we haven't really gone into the specifics of the copy itself. And something that Sean taught me 2-3 years ago now, maybe, that very much impacted my copy, was viewing edits on kind of 3 levels. 1 being value edits, 2 being function edits, and 3 being line edits. The idea being that you start with the top level, which is value, which is just having a look at it and going, okay, is this idea even resonating with anyone? Is there some fundamental flaw with what is trying to be talked about here that just doesn't work or doesn't hit? The second level is function edits, and that is how does it flow, basically, which is, do these sections make sense where they are? Are there things that should be shown a lot sooner in the copy, i.e. social proof, as we were discussing? And then there's line edits. And to an extent, line edits are the least important. They're the words you're using, how you're saying certain things, and changing the copy up. And I think as a beginner, everyone focus on line edits. Everyone. I did it. Lindsay, I'm sure you did it. Rod, I'm sure you did it, right? The first thing you do when you become a copywriter, you focus on superficial stuff, which is like, oh man, I should put a comma here, and maybe I should make this 2 sentences, or no, I'm going to use a hyphen, not a semicolon, because that's stupid, right? You're going to think about that kind of stuff, and you're going to look at adjectives a lot. What you start to realize is the things that make the biggest impact, and I mean like 10-fold, 20, 50, 100-fold impact, are the big changes. Taking a step back and going, does this actually make sense? Am I writing to someone? Are they going to trust me if I write like this? Should I structure it in a different way? That kind of stuff is so major. And that really, I would say, is, 70, 80% of copywriting, just getting that right.
Yeah. Laura makes a good point that this is very, very just bulky in terms of text, and there isn't a lot being done on the page to sort of delineate between sections, and so it can kind of feel like just one really, really long section. And so one easy thing you can do is even just have like different background colors for sections to make it feel like as if there is that separation for readers. Break up some of these like really long paragraphs, because that does start to wear on somebody, and more quickly they get fatigued, the more likely they are to stop reading, especially because I don't think there are actually a ton of calls to action here. And so like if someone gets stuck like in here, they may just click off the page instead of like clicking something here. So be really mindful of like how much work you're asking the reader to do and the number of opportunities you are giving them to engage right before they hit that fatigue wall.
Yeah, I mean, and there's other things we could dive into here, and it depends how granular we want to go. I think we've given a good high-level view of what needs to change, and that's going to really impact the copy.
I
Lindsay,
do kind of want to go to town a little bit on, if you guys wouldn't mind scrolling down. So we talked about like taking the opportunity to really delve in, into what you are going to be getting with this leadership training, right? So if you scroll down, Rod, to the area where it says Section 1, Management Training, and then it goes into those, those modules. So this is good, but like, guys, like when I read these bullets, I just like my heart breaks a little bit, like these sales bullets, like confidently delegate tasks, use SMART goals for team success. Like everybody in management knows what SMART goals are. If you're not going to deliver something that feels uniquely valuable to this program, and every single one of these bullets should feel uniquely valuable to this program, people are just going to think like, this isn't going to teach me anything new. This isn't going to teach my people. I'm just going to end up wasting all this money. This is just, I'm going to be these are weak bullets. Like these are really weak sales bullets. And like they can be so much better. Take the opportunity to, rather than saying, time management, we just did a whole module on time management right before, right when we ended the last season. Take control of your schedule, prioritize tasks to save time, plan your work to create more time. Like, the 3-step maneuver to, eliminate whatever. Like, where I'm going. Like, write real bullets, right? Real sales bullets, right? And don't just like, this is just lazy.
Yeah, I mean, go on, Rob.
I think it probably some laziness here. I think also you have to take a step back as the person who's writing, as the person who understands the business, and think about what it looks like from the perspective of someone who doesn't know who you are and who has probably seen lots of other similar products. If what they're reading is, hey, we're going to teach you how to use SMART goals, that's not going to be attractive because everyone knows what SMART goals are in 2023. Things like plan your work to create more time. If I'm a manager who's feeling overwhelmed at work, who feels like my team isn't performing up to par, who feels like we're never going to get done all the things we need to get done, and I can't spend enough time with my family, I don't want to plan my work better. I want to fucking break. Give me some. Let me go home at 5 p.m. on Friday. Let me actually enjoy a cocktail hour when we all go out as a team.
That's true.
When we do those expense lunches, that we're actually able to sit there and relax and socialize and not have this like silent pressure where we're all laughing and stuff, but like everyone's afraid to say the wrong thing. Like there are so many sort of like secondary level problems that come from these things that you're trying to do for people. That are the things those are the places where they actually feel the problem. Of course, they want to take control of their schedule, but like, what does it mean? How does it feel when you can't?
Yes. Yes.
When every little tick on your Google Calendar is just like another pressure point that is like being squeezed painfully.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Yeah.
And I think the thing too is like, if it occurs to you to write these things, these bullets, you probably have an understanding of what these problems are like to an extent. And so just sit there and do the extra 2 or 3 minutes of thinking of like, okay, I've written this down. What do I actually mean? Why do I know that this is a problem that people need solved? And then write that down instead. Like just, spend a little bit more time with your copy.
Yeah. I mean, sorry,
So,
Lindsay, you go.
No, let's do like a hypothetical. So I don't know if the person who submitted this is like the owner of this business or like has a stake in this business, or if they're just a copywriter who has been hired to promote this business and create this landing page. So I guess my question would be like, let's just approach it from like, I'm a copywriter. I have been hired to create this for this this training. Like, what would you guys say? How do I go about making these bullets stronger?
I mean, so one, I would recommend going and having a look on, is it the patreon.com/copy that?
Mm-hmm.
Might be that one.
The copy that show.
Copy that show. The copy that show. Okay, scratch that. Go to patreon.com/the copy that show. I think we have a button somewhere, which I think Sean was pressing last time, but I haven't learned how to do that yet. Regardless, Sean and I and Rod, I believe, it was like over 3 days. I can't remember who was there and who wasn't. We did a whole live stream where we did nothing. Yeah, there you go. But critiqued bullets for hours. And then we paid our patrons for the bullets that were good as well. And we did a lot of explaining about what makes bullets good. So number one, if you want to, get the actual down low on how to do it, go and check that out.
Yep.
But just as a quick fire thing here, let's look at take control of your schedule, the one we were looking at. Simple way to punch up any bullet. If what you're doing is what you're effectively doing is saying a statement, you're making a statement, which is take control of your schedule. It's like a command. Change it into something that is interesting or leads to a question, which gives a bit more intrigue into what the subject is going to be. So instead of take control of your schedule, it can be something like how the Welsh, like the leader of Wales, makes his department schedule their calendar, something like that, right? If you work with Ministry of Defense and people like that. Again, that's that's bad copy in terms of how that's written, because I don't know that it made sense. But think about it in terms of, all right, how can I make this more interesting? Or you can go far more direct with it. Go the other way and say, everyone in your department should be doing this in their Google calendars right now. That then becomes like, oh, that sounds like they've got a pretty good answer to managing time. What is it? I want to know what that is.
Yeah.
Instead of just taking control of your schedule, which is a faceless kind of, oh, cool, I'm going to learn about X.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, like first things first, like understand what sales bullets are. If you're writing copy, there just should be no words on your page that are not driving a sales message. Like, I understand the need, and you do need to explain to the prospect to some degree what it is that they're going to be getting, but you can still do that in a salesy way and with a sales message. So you need to understand what sales bullets are, and you need to learn how to write them effectively. The other thing that I would do if I was a copywriter is I would take the initiative to ask if I could sit in on the trainings and actually go through the training myself so that I understand what it is that I'm actually promoting. And then if I had the opportunity while I was there, I would go around and I would speak to it says there's 12 seats in this program. So I would speak to the 12 people that are there and try to understand the pain points that they are experiencing with their teams so that I could write to those emotions and those pain points most effectively. So, I don't know if that's possible. Sometimes, there's like, you've been hired, you live in a different country than, where this is taking place or whatever. But surely there are conversations that can be had that would better inform you of, what it is that the product that you're actually delivering.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in the world that I come from, like, you cannot write effective copy unless you are consuming the material yourself and then looking at it from the perspective of like the audience as well and trying to understand their pain points.
I think that's probably just for every world. If you don't understand the product or you don't understand why anyone would want the product, then you're not going to be able to write compelling sales arguments for it because you don't know what they are.
Yeah, definitely. There's nothing like having access, and not just in information. I know I've always got an e-commerce slant because that's the majority of companies I've written for. But I remember having I won't name what the product was, but it was a small kind of rubberized. This doesn't sound good. It was a small kind of like rubberized item, and I got sent one. Yeah, that sounds really bad. I got sent one, and I used it. Anyway, I got sent one, and I remember I had a cup of tea that I was drinking in whatever time it was. When I had it and I unpacked it, and then I just noticed it would fit in the mug. Like that was like one of the first things I noticed when I got out. I was like, oh, it would fit in a mug. Like, that's interesting. This does not sound good, does it?
Was it made of silicone?
I'm no comment. I'm pleading the fifth. But yeah, so things like that, and that became one of the angles, because instead of just saying like, portable, it's hey, fits in a mug. And then it becomes far more like, all right. And I wouldn't have known that if I hadn't got it out. Like, looking at measurements on a screen is not the same as having something in front of you. Just as having a course described to you is not the same as having the material in front of you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Link.
Just to answer a couple quick comments on chat. Abid asks, will AI overtake content writer / copywriting? The answer is no. Period. Sean, the other Sean, YouTube Sean, says that secondary problems can be worse than primary problems. Absolutely. Always keep that in mind. Mateus kindly reminded us of the time that his bullets got absolutely trashed during that stream.
Sorry.
Good times.
We enjoyed it. I think we paid you some money, though, so...
Yeah, I'm sure you got at least $5.
Mateus, you can also ask Alex for that link later on if he's willing to provide it.
Depends how much
I don't know if we can talk about it on YouTube.
Yeah, definitely not. We'll get demonetized. Cool.
Are you guys good for this one? Should we move on to the next one?
I think so. I'm assuming the person who wrote this isn't in the chat. I think just as a final summary, so hopefully we can link them to this timestamp. I'd say go away for a second, look at what the actual product is again, map it all out, have a look at what other people do, start with the structure, start with the modularization of what you actually have in front of you, because it's going to make it far more clear. Utilize social proof because it seems like you have some good stuff. And plan out what you're going to do on the page, because people are going to you because they want to feel confident about your service. Just as you're saying, hey, we're going to help you feel confident, they want to look at you and be like, wow, not only have they done this for a bunch of people in the past and a bunch of high profile people, but just reading this makes me understand what I'm going to get and why this is worth my time. And lastly, as Lindsay pointed out, there's just a lot to punch up. There's a lot in the bullets, in a lot of the regular copy on the page as well, where you can dimensionalize things and you can say, this is what it's going to mean for you, or this is what it's going to mean for your team. Take those things together. I think you can have a good page here, because I think you've got a relative, what looks like a relatively strong product to work with. A company that already has
that's exciting.
Yeah.
It seems like a really cool product.
Absolutely. Cool.
Right.
I think we're done.
Cool.
We're done with that one. The next one I have up, or the next tab, is this one for Frameworks, submitted by Namzug16. You guys cool with this one?
Yeah.
Commerce. Yes, I'll just read this. So, Frameworks, empowering premium fashion e-commerce with paid advertising. And there's a speak to us button. We offer what we do best, paid advertising, Facebook and Instagram advertising. Paid advertising enables your brand reach a wider audience, target potential customers precisely, increase brand awareness, and track measurable results. Why Frameworks? A premium service for premium brands. We allow e-commerce fashion brands to grow as efficiently and fast as possible. By focusing solely on fashion and commerce, we're able to develop and improve our internal strategies better than those who work with different industries. There's a calendar to book a call, and then speak to us. And then like it's a name, and I would love to help you scale your brand. So let's have a 15-minute call to know each other better. Yada yada yada. Thoughts?
Did you?
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, Lindsay, go on.
Real fast. Did you click the second link with a custom page for us?
I did not.
I have that up as well. I just had a look at it because I wondered why I had two on my screen.
Yeah.
They did one just for us.
Clever.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I saw that one also. I only opened this one up.
Yeah. That's funny.
Nice.
Okay, cool. All right, let's get into it.
Can I make one point before we crack into this?
Yes.
Here's something else that I'm gonna share with you guys that I hope serves you well in your career, because it's something that certainly took me a little while to learn. Which is that often, not even often, 100% of the time, 100% of the time, as we touched on earlier, copy is only as powerful as the targeting that comes before it. So it's only as powerful as the list it's going to as the people who are seeing it. Now, I'd imagine potentially some people might look at this copy and be like, you could make the headline better. And yeah, of course, any headline can be made better. However, if I'm reading this and I run a fashion e-commerce brand, and I've worked with fashion e-commerce brands in the past, and I view myself as one that wants to be premium, wants to be kind of high level, this is going to speak to me. Like, this is going to speak to me. Even if I don't know what like paid advertising is, which, you know, depending on who you're writing to, could or might not be the case. This is going to speak to me immediately. So the fact that this headline is being very specific, I like straight away. Yeah, we could talk about empowering and like, could we be more specific with what the result is, and could we maybe make it clearer about what's actually going to happen for the person reading? But the highlight for me here is you're immediately calling out your audience, and that is always a good thing to do, assuming they exist, and it's getting in front of them. So that's the first point I want to make before any of this is I don't think this is bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You guys want to add to that? I agree, disagree?
I don't think it's bad. I think I think that the more direct your claims are, the more obvious evidence or proof you need to back them. Is what I'll say. And so, while I don't have an issue with this as a headline, I then want to see something very like decisive about why it is that you're qualified to do the thing that you're saying you're going to do. And the credibility point is something that's missing from me.
100%.
I agree with you, Alex. Immediately, like, this says fashion, e-commerce. Like, I think that gets the point across very quickly. I've spoken with e-commerce brands before about paid advertising, doing paid advertising. I think the thing that is missing for me right out of the gate is for e-commerce. I mean, for e-commerce brands, labels, fashion, whatever. If we can assume that they know what paid advertising is and that they have a sense that they should do it, but what does it all encompass? Like, what platforms are you on? Are you talking about, Google, Amazon? Like, give me a sense of I guess we can call them services, platforms, like right out of the gate, right underneath this headline. Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, like, so you guys have I think basically, I'm glad we're on the same page of this, because you've both said what other points I had. Number one, which is, if you're saying to someone that you can increase X, you need to show you've done it before. And number two, the reason I mentioned paid advertising when I did was because I have heard of Facebook as a shop owner. I have heard of Google. I've heard of Amazon. Paid advertising as a term, I might not know exactly what that means.
What
paid,
that means.
like, yeah, okay.
And what it encompasses. Yeah.
But I see loads of other fashion brands advertising on Instagram. Loads.
Yes.
I see people on TikTok who are referencing. I see influencers. I guarantee you, like, yeah, if someone knows what paid advertising is, great, awesome. They know it. They know they're looking for paid advertising. This works for them. Most people are not going to know exactly what paid advertising means, potentially, who you are going for. But everyone knows what Instagram is. I almost guarantee you, if you were to instead put like social media advertising, right?
Yeah.
I almost guarantee you it would see more people be like, whoa, okay, right, yeah, I'm interested in that. Because most brands, as much as it pains me, think social media is like the most important thing. And they think they don't see a difference between social media and Facebook ads. They just don't.
Yeah. So, I mean, you talked about this on a previous one that we looked at, Alex, but like this whole page says to me that whoever wrote this copy, whoever designed this webpage, did not go out and study the competition, because a very, very quick Google search of fashion e-commerce paid advertising, as I'm looking, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Where I'm at, I get 4 ads. The first one that I see, online marketing that grows your profit for e-commerce businesses across all verticals. So they do all verticals, but immediately the Google Shopping, feed optimization, Amazon advertising, paid social, enterprise, PPC management. So, immediately it is breaking down what paid advertising encompasses, so that if I'm looking for something specifically, I know that you do it.
And this is the problem that they're going to have with this, is it kind of splits into 2 groups. Either I know what paid advertising is, therefore I know what channels I'm on, because we're already doing it. So I want to see that you do those immediately. Or I don't know what paid advertising is, but I have a fashion brand that I've either just started or, I've been running for a little while. But I want to see myself on social media and getting likes and seeing people click to my things. This, just saying paid advertising, is going in the middle of both those camps, where it's like, it's not specific enough to say, hey, oh my God, that is exactly what I'm looking for. It's not, I guess, fluffy is the wrong word. It's not mainstream enough to grab people who just want to see their brand blow up on the things they recognize.
Yeah. Can I push you on that, though? On that word choice? I think we should acknowledge fluffy as a valuable thing to provide to people. Like, as of course we want to like make sure that people's money, like our clients' money, is going to like generate as much revenue as possible for them. There are some clients you're going to have for whom like vanity marketing is just going to be important to them, and we should acknowledge that sometimes like it is our job just to put out the fluff for them. And so, you know, it is a thing where you can have the fluff headline and someone's like, oh my God, I want that. I was thinking about this in the last one with like the leadership summit thing, where it's like a lot of those leadership seminars, trainings are just like full of really nebulous terms that people hear and interpret in whatever way they want, but don't necessarily intrinsically mean something. But they really, really enjoy it. They attend the sessions. They're like, oh my God, I got so much out of this, even though like you didn't really say anything. That's fine because that's something people are willing to buy. People will buy fluff. Just be aware that that's what we're doing, and that like sometimes you kind of gotta get comfy.
100% agree, and that's exactly why I wanted to highlight that word premium, which is that believe me, so many brands fucking. Can I say the F word on like YouTube? Is that gonna get us demonetized?
No. We have to bleep it, but you know.
All right. I was gonna say the C word as a joke, but I'm not gonna put you guys.
Let's not push it.
All right. Okay. But yeah. What was my point? Oh yeah. So many brands label themselves as premium and just think of themselves as premium brands because they love it. They want to think of themselves as premium brands, especially fashion. Oh my God, especially.
Yeah.
So yeah, 100%. And to that point, Rod, 100% agree. You know, I'm head of sales and marketing at a multi-million-pound health tech brand, and I still have to push out LinkedIn posts that are like, "Why are we doing this?" Right? Because investors want to see it, or it makes the board happy. Like, you just have to do it sometimes. So yeah,
social media presence.
Yeah, presence. Presence. Okay, now we're getting into copy. What was it? Copy for the copy god. That's it.
Rod, can we do a quick drill and just go to Google and type in fashion e-commerce paid advertising? Because I've just been looking at these, and it's the same things, the two elements that are missing from this page, which is if you want to market yourself as like a premium luxury brand, like you got to see brands in there, right? Like social proof. What types
is there
of
a particular one you want me to look at?
No, just click whatever, and because they're all the same. I mean, they're pretty much the same. If people are spending money on them, I mean, hopefully they've optimized these pages. And then, but in addition to that, it's just also explaining, breaking down the various components of what paid advertising encompasses. So what is this? This is Velox Media.
Yeah.
Is it the same thing? Like, so look, 20 plus fashion clients, leading fashion digital marketing agencies. What can we help you with? Online campaigns, paid advertising, content creation. So again, like there's their breakdown of what of paid advertising.
Increase revenue with
organic search campaigns. So then, I'm guessing here that they're taking the opportunity to flesh out a little bit their main kind of verticals under there, that under paid advertising that they want to focus on. And results from past clients, case studies. Who has done this? A fitness clothing brand, a leading fashion company. Yeah.
Let's look at that's the thing. Yeah. Like to your point, Lindsay, like at the top, it's at least showing numbers immediately, which is, as basic as it sounds, like specific numbers breed credibility. They just do. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
What if we look at another one real quick? Let's just look at one more. If you go back.
Okay.
Anyone that's ranking true is gonna be good.
So fashion digital agency, fashion websites, campaigns for fast growing fashion brands. It's funny though, because the copy on these websites is not, necessarily fantastic.
No.
But,
And I also want to say, like, and again, this is looking at the wider context of the marketing world, is that agencies especially get, I'm not going to say most because it depends on the agency, but get a lot of business just through referrals and then repeat clients as well. It's not, they don't just rely on paid and organic. So their websites don't need to be fantastic. They don't need to have, a Agora level copy to get people on board, because like Lindsay was saying, often you just need social proof.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to share, hey, we've done this before. And then a lot of brands will be like, okay, cool. These
Mm-hmm.
guys are at the top of the search results. Sure, I'll go on them.
Yeah, and with this page, you get it. If you scroll down, it's just scrolling through brands, Giant. Like these are all Jamie Sly again. Like, and then it's breaking down what they did. So they did e-commerce for fashion digital marketing. For the Giant one, they did something else. So case studies. I think this is what you need to sell. And if we go back to the this Merrick's, it's just it's missing all of that. Who have you worked with, and what specifically is paid advertising? I feel like we're harping on the same things on this one. So
yeah,
I think that's
I just want to make one last point on it, which is that I have an agency website, an old agency website. In fact, Rod, if you wouldn't mind going on it right now, because someone brought it up in the Copy That Discord.
Which one?
3 days ago. If you just type in Myatt, my name, which I hope you know how to spell, Myatt Bonson, Bonson, yeah, my Bonson. It should just come up. Yeah, right.
I didn't want to pull it up if that's not what you're talking about.
No, it's on. So I mean, like this, I made this like 3 years ago, now. And like at the time, we as an agency had very little proof, and I was like, kind of like, I mainly done stuff with like local brands that people don't really know about, and I wasn't doing a case study or anything on them. But the reality was, like, I was cold pitching to get clients at that time, mostly. So like, this was just here really to act as some kind of proof. So it's it's not like you have to have an agency website that's so great. I'm amazed this isn't broken, this website, because it's been up for ages. But what I did instead of like kind of show, oh, here's all these clients, I did two main things. One was that I harped on about this one concept of like sales funnel, because I was like, right, you've heard of a website, you've got a website, you're not using it properly. That's the thing. That was my one idea. Is like a sales funnel is actually going to help you. And if you go back to the top as well, just on the social, we can go through it if you want, but you go over the top, like the social proof is you just scroll down a little bit.
Yeah, I saw that. So clever.
The companies I use.
It happens everywhere in the copy world. Like,
yeah.
Like
people see those logos and they go like,
sales funnels as used by WooCommerce, WordPress, Cartflows, Google Analytics.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I mean, some people, I don't know. Some people might have a little, they might have an issue with that, but like this is all over in the copy world. Like,
But if they're smart enough to know, you don't want them as a client. So
that's exactly it.
That's
you qualified your audience.
But yeah, this was, I'm not going to say go and study this, because the copy, like, it's not. I'd say it's okay. It's not great. Definitely, it's fine. I'd say it's better than most people's, like, who just kind of start copywriting. Definitely, but you need to, if you don't have any results yet. The reason I was bringing this up is because I didn't have any proper results like at this time exactly, or not ones I wanted to share, put it like that. So I just went back on like, okay, I'm gonna show them that like there is one thing missing that they don't have that I can do for them. I can make it as frictionless as possible, and that to me was a sales funnel. I was like, right, your website is all wrong right now. You need a sales funnel. I knew a sales funnel wasn't a specific thing back then, because it isn't. It's just a vague concept, by the way. But I was like just telling them, hey, you need a sales funnel, and you don't have it right now. You just have a website. That was the whole point I was trying to get on. With this site we were just looking at, you're going specific on who you're calling out to. Fantastic. That's really good. Now, can you show them, if you haven't got any proof right now, that there's one thing they should be doing as a premium fashion e-commerce brand that they're not doing right now? And then tell them what that is. And then invite them to book a call to talk about it. So you can show them what to do. Like, that is how I would recommend going about it.
That's great. One final note on Perfume, if we could go back there. Right at the end, I love the call to action of actually getting in there and booking a time to speak with whomever. I think that's great. I would suggest that Gustavo not leave his calendar so open. It just looks like he's not in demand. Nothing's happening. He's got all day to hear you. He has no clients, right? Give it a couple windows and Keep that open.
I'm pretty sure you can do that on Calendly, right? You can.
You can.
Yeah, you can just like block out whatever time you want. So
Yep.
that's a good one. I like that point.
Yeah.
Cool.
This is like a really, this might be petty and trifling, but
We are. Please do.
I always want like the bio or whatever it is to come before the calendar itself. And so either for me, I would either put the speak to us thing on the left side or have it be like
Flip it.
vertically above the calendar itself, because I naturally see the calendar first. And then I might read the thing after, but if I already said it, I don't want to engage with the calendar. I'm not going to read the bio and then go back to the calendar.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's how most people engage with it, but for me, I
Extremely petty.
That's fair.
Cool. I think we did that.
All right.
Well done, team.
Yeah.
Let me just look at this.
Alex, you got a compliment. I like how eloquently Alex can explain and point out new information we can really learn from. The rest of the group is really adding the value to us as well. Bless you, people. Alex, I got to say, you do have a gift. You are very eloquent and succinct. And you were probably a teacher in your past life.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I wouldn't say eloquent. I definitely wouldn't say succinct. But yeah, I have a 5-hour video, right? Basically just saying like social media's like you can do stuff on it. Thank you, Mugviz. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that was nice. Cool. Okay, what's the next one?
All right. So next one, we have an email. The readers are dog owners that are open to learning about dog training. Okay. The medium, it is a lift email that drives readers to a sales letter selling a course on recall. They're problem aware, kind of solution aware too. Most dog owners understand the importance of good recall. They also kind of know how to train their dogs to come when called. I guess recall is probably like having them come back to you.
Yeah.
The big problem is it's not 100% reliable, and people don't know why, or they kind of get why, but don't know what to do about it. The guru is a vet and a dog behaviorist. Okay. This is very helpful. Thank you.
This is very helpful. This is great.
Yeah, extremely. Can I read this one?
Please.
No,
Yeah,
I mean, sure, I guess.
I mean, I don't know if we should allow Alex toward any dogs. Like he's got a thing for. Like
well, that sounds. Right? That sounds. Why are we making me?
I love this
during this stream.
No, it's a little bit of an inside joke.
Is it? I don't want it to be.
Not inside like that.
You can fit it inside a mug. That's all I'm saying. All right. Anyway,
a mug. It can.
A copy that mug, which you can get at copythatshow.com if you click on the merch store. Nice. All right. Okay. Yeah, I really like dogs and dog e-commerce and dog products. It's kind of one of my. Get that off the screen, Rob. We're gonna get demonetized. Okay. So subject line: the most reliable recall queue. Let's be honest, most people's recall never works 100% of the time. Yet it should be, because a truly fail-safe recall is the basis of a dog's physical safety. So for most dog owners with a semi-reliable recall, I'm here today with life-saving news. The most reliable recall cue is not even a cue, a word, or a weird sound. It's much simpler than that. And I hardly see it discussed anywhere, especially in a way that average dog owners can understand and use it for themselves. It's the only recall technique that drives dogs back to their owners by using one of their strongest, most innate and irresistible instincts, their instinct of intrigue. Meaning, if you can train your dog that you are always more intriguing than anything else, there's no way they can resist your recall. Click here to discover how to do it. For their best health, Dr. Branson. Now, before I say anything about that, Rod, is that a link that you can click?
Oh, yes. Well, no, it's not. I lied.
Ah, God. Well, hey, one, it made me want to click, so good job there. There's quite a bit that's good in that email that I actually really like. The chunk, when you're building up to, it's a thing that you don't see anyone talk about, and it's not this and it's not that. Great, good copy. I like that.
Yeah.
I can say a lot else, and I can certainly tell you how to improve it. Did you guys want to say anything first?
Yeah, well, it may be the same thing that you're thinking. This was so good for me. The build-up of that intrigue of like the building the interest is like so good. And I feel like it kind of tapers off as soon as you like tell them what it is. Like if you just have the link like here, that would just be like, oh, chef's kiss.
So
yeah.
Definitely agree with that. Lindsay, did you want to say anything as well before I go into it? Because I fear I will spiel.
I'm really just kind of studying the subject line and this kind of first line, right? And like, I'll be honest, I'm a dog owner. I have 2 huskies. They do not listen to me. They, I actually did a training class with my oldest dog, who is 13 now, and he was like flying colors in the sessions, but then when it was just the 2 of us, unfortunately, I did not have enough alpha in me, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, so, even with this context heading into this email, this like recall thing, I'm honestly not even thinking of it in terms of dogs and dog training. I just keep going back to just memory recall. And so I just think that there's a missed opportunity with this subject line and this first line. Most people's
real
recall.
quick, is that a British phrasing, Alex? Do you guys refer to as recall there?
Yes, I don't actually know how widely it's used. I know it because I've done dog training and stuff before.
I've never heard it used that way in the US. And so I was wondering if this is like a maybe translation issue.
I mean, and even if it is, regardless, if I'm somebody, and this is an email coming to me, right? I got a million things going about my day. When I sit down to read my email, who knows what I'm thinking about? The thing that I'm not thinking about when I see the subject line is dog training. When I read the subject line, this does not speak dog training to me. This says something else, memory recall, whatever, and it's confusing.
Yeah, and I mean, so I've worked for a dog brand that does courses, as in like training. I'll link whoever's this is. Who was this? Who sent this, Rob?
Oliver.
Oh, okay. You have a dog. You've sent me a photo of your dog before, I'm pretty sure. If it's the Oliver I'm thinking of in the Discord. Why are you guys gonna make it dirty, man? Like, all right. He's a boxer, I'm pretty sure. Anyway. Okay, so I'll send you, if you see this, and get in touch with me and I'll send it to you. But I did not, Oliver. Do you have a boxer as your profile picture?
He does, yeah.
Right. Okay. All right. Cool. Maybe I'm just thinking. People have sent me photos of their dogs before because of the e-commerce series. So I think I'm just like. Anyway. All right. So I'll get in touch with me. I'll send you a few examples of dog courses. So what I'll say, Lindsay. And I don't know how much. Have you ever seen like kind of those dog course products online at all?
Yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah.
So a big thing that they do. They will do like puppy training, and they'll do obviously toilet training, etc. So something they'll do is they'll use courses like this as basically upsells a little bit later on in like a puppy's life. So they have a bunch of affiliate deals, obviously, with physical product brands, and then they will genuinely like stage out. So when a puppy gets to say 6 months after that kind of initial training, and it's it's at a sit, stay, blah blah blah, they'll then be like, oh cool, right now recall. And etc.
Yeah.
So my assumption for this is going to be, and Oliver, I don't know if you're writing this for a product that exists, or if you have a line of products or a company in mind when you've been doing this. So if you could give me some of that information, that'd be useful. I'm going to assume this is being sent to a list of people who have already bought a product which is to do with dog training, and they already have an interest in dogs. So I'm going to assume.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And if it's coming from Sender, Oliver's dog training program, and then the subject line is the most reliable. Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So you're saying nothing exists. Okay, so it's a spec piece, that's totally fine. Whenever you're writing a spec piece, just a tip for everyone watching, whenever you're writing a spec piece, also just have in mind what the product is going to be, because it helps frame the rest of your copy. And still create a whole little story in your head about, right, where are they going off this, what have they seen before this, who is the person, etc. You did a good job of it. It's just make sure that you know where it's going afterwards as well. Okay, so what I would say, you have the from name, like the friendly from, as I know we like to call it, where, this person knows who you are. They probably already trust you because they probably already bought something for you. the most reliable recall cue. If I'm a dog owner who's interested in training, I probably know that. So, not bad. However, I definitely take your point, Lindsay, which it can definitely be stronger. Definitely be stronger. The way that I would make this stronger is just dimensionalize the subject line. Right? Like that would be one. Again, there's a few things you could do, but imagine saying something like, even just in quotes, my dog comes back when I call every time, right? Like, and then this is how, something like that, right? It's like, okay, well, I've got to look at that. That all of a sudden to me is far more, that's annoying. Or you could go the other way of basically talking about what you've said in the content. And I don't know about you guys, but I almost always write subject lines after I write the rest of the email. Like I will usually write everything and then I'll write the subject line. And what I will sometimes do is I will use something in my copy because it's good because I've hopefully written it with something in mind, and I will use that as a subject line, effectively the tease for the tease, the lift for the lift. So what I would do is look at my email copy, the thing you've got, look at the most interesting piece of it, the thing that gets me most excited for me, which is like, what that innate thing that dogs have that no one else is talking about, and maybe play on that as a subject line because that's super interesting. I think this piece would lend itself to a subject line that just is like, this is what makes dogs come back every time, in quotation marks. Because I know it's not a real product, but if this was a real product and people used it, I guarantee you'll have a testimonial somewhere that's like, oh, he comes back every time now.
Yeah.
So think about how you can use copy like that. So yeah, subject line I think can be stronger. Let's be honest, most people's recall never works 100% of the time. That's fluff. Don't need that there. That's not doing anything. That's not teaching me anything. It's not showing me anything. I already know that. That's why I've opened the email, because I'm interested in recall.
Yep.
Yet it should be. So I get that just doesn't make sense grammatically, going on from the last line. A truly fail-safe recall is the basis of a dog's physical safety. So interesting, but everyone cares about dogs' physical safety, of course, but is that the thing? Is that the thing that I've clicked on this for?
No.
And is it the thing that you've led? Maybe the subject line, if that was the angle you were going for as a whole email, and you knew people already cared about that, fine. I don't think mentioning it here is necessary. So most dog owners with a semi-reliable recall, I'm here today with life-saving news. Again, life-saving, I don't think that's the angle you want to be going for. I think the angle you want to go for is that intrigue, because everyone knows that recall is annoying. If your dog doesn't do it, it's frustrating. Or the other way is it's fucking cool when they do it. One of my dogs, Willow, who is 10, she's basically a mongrel, but she's like a Staffordshire Terrier crossed with a boxer. We trained her very well. So I click my fingers and she sits, and I just tug on the lead a bit and she'll walk, and she will sit for ages, and she's very, very well behaved. Feels so good. I don't care. I've been doing it for 10 years, but every time I click and she sits down, I'm like, yeah, okay, I own you. And that feels cool. So that's a very strong emotion, I think, for dog owners. Is it feels good to have a dog do what you say, because it's so frustrating when they don't. So there's a couple ways you can go about it there.
And every time you're out in public and you do that, it's just positive reinforcement for everyone. It's like, look at my dog. I'm sitting at this cafe, and it's sitting under my feet.
She's just there, and it's all good.
And it's good.
And I have another dog called Portia, who, to be fair to her, she was raised by drug dealers until she was 2 and was abused. But she's also a bitch, so I have no sympathy for her. And she hates other dogs, and she's never been fantastic on walks. She's pretty good now, but and it's so annoying when it's like, why don't you just do what I say sometimes? Again, I knew I'd go into a massive spiel with dog products. Okay, so to break this down to what I've said, work out what the thing is, because this genuinely, that part there is actually quite good. It's building up like, this is interesting.
What you need to know what it is.
I want to know what it is. What you need to lean into is, okay, why does someone actually care about recall? All that takes is one line. Just that. If you just say again, a quote or something like that of I'm sick of screaming my dog's name and them not coming back, right? Or I'm sick of like everyone looking at me like a freak in the park because I keep shouting, like Rover or whatever. That's the most basic dog name, yeah. Like Rover over and over again.
Yeah.
Immediately understand what that is. Yep,
Yes.
I've been there. That's so annoying. Oh God, yeah. Or the other way, which is God, you have like no idea how good it feels to do one thing and your dog does exactly what you say.
Yes.
And like this trigger or this switch is something I don't see anybody talk about. Moving on with the copy. The most reliable recall cue is not even a cue, a word, or a weird sound. Interesting. Okay, what is it? It's much simpler than that. Fine. And I hardly see it discussed anywhere, especially in a way that average dog owners can understand and use it for themselves. So kind of clunky, and if we get into line edits, we could definitely cut that down. But I hardly see it discussed anywhere. All right, why not? It's the only recall technique that drives dogs back to their owner by using one of the strongest, most innate, and irresistible instincts. Whoa. Okay, I need to know what this is. Then, as Rod said, I think you give away the farm a little bit in that you talk about like it's the instinct of intrigue, meaning if you can train your dog so you're always more intriguing than anything else, there's no way they can reach recall. It's like that kind of almost like makes me go a bit. It's a bit boring. It's a bit, okay. I thought it was going to be something like an ancient thing our ancestors bred into them that we could just like do. It's a bit like
Yeah.
So use that intrigue. The minute you start losing that, even though they might just go down a little bit, that feels like a massive drop in. Like, oh, okay, I know what it is now. I don't need to.
There are some times in copy when you should not cap the reader's imagination and you should just let it kind of run wild. And when you come off this idea of it's not a cue or a word or even a weird sound, now I'm like let their imagination run wild. Like Alex said, it's some ancient, like guttural throat, like who knows? Like, I don't know, but like, let their imagination run wild for a little bit. So I actually think you could just cut it off at, by using one of their strongest, most innate and irresistible instincts. Yeah. Click here to discover how you could do it.
Yeah. It's like Nick's entire section.
Yeah, I think the only I would even just cut it entirely or to replace it with and it's easier than anyone would believe to trigger it.
Yeah. ... Love it.
Mm-hmm. Whoa. Okay. Then let the sales page do the talking. Then it launches into with a VSL at the top of a man demonstrating this with a dog that's running away, and then something happens. Screen blacks out. Something happens. Dog just stops. Right. Then you have, then it goes into, okay, I'm making this up in my mind of like, oh, I want this product. Then it becomes that the headline there can be like, how to use IP. So whatever that is, glottal stop manipulation or whatever. Just speak British at it, that then becomes the sales page. So closing remarks for me, because I know I've been talking about it a lot, because I really like products and emails like this.
That's great.
Generally speaking, I think you've got a good idea. I think the copy is generally well written. I think you're getting into that flow. Definitely line edits that can be made and things to just cut. Grammar, use of commas, things like that. I think you just need to be careful of because it trips me up a bit when I was talking. But more importantly than all of that, beginning, remember who your reader is, what they're actually interested in. Don't throw in a bunch of ideas to this copy. Just let it be one focus point, i.e. the intriguing thing that someone is going to get hyped up about, and just let them know that you understand their pain or you know what they want, i.e. it's really frustrating when this doesn't happen, or wouldn't it be cool if this happened? Don't need to go into physical safety and life saving unless you want to make that the whole angle. And it's a big kind of safety first campaign where the people really care about, I want my dog to not run in the road, for example. I'm thinking of too many products and stuff now. Like, you guys ever see people out walking their dogs and they just don't have them on a lead, but they're walking down like the sidewalk, the pavement?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You just look at that and be like, how?
Yes.
There's an angle right there. Right? Yeah. Just how can people trust dogs by roads? ? Like, yeah, I'm interested in that because that's something I look at.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm gonna stop talking now. I hope that helped, Oliver.
Cool.
And if it didn't, we'll give you a refund.
Yeah, free. Well, no, you're a patron. You're a patron, aren't you? Actually, so that isn't.
I take that back. Then no refund.
Don't say that, Rod. Now, you dickhead.
Shit.
All right. Yeah. Did you want to add anything, Lindsay or Rod? I think we covered that in depth.
I'm looking forward to the full sales page on Armenian yodeling.
I am. Yeah.
Oh, I actually do have one final thing. I'm assuming now that we have some we have some good context that people who have presumably bought a course, they're used to this name Dr. Branson, but I do think that having a doctor associated with a product is a huge credibility driver. And anytime that you can use that in the subject line, even if it's, Dr. Branson's most reliable recall queue, I think it just helps. Because putting credibility from a guru, vet, dog behaviorist right at the top, that's something that I would test for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful thing with lifts is so many subject lines that you can just throw in there and see what works.
Yep.
Yeah. That's a really good point. All right.
Okay.
Cool.
Next one, we have a financial newsletter for Gen Z subscription to. This was posted by Ishir Wad H. I'm butchering that name. I'm so sorry. Stage awareness, problem aware, target audience is Gen Z between 2026 who are struggling to acquire financial literacy. They are fresh working professionals or college students. The one idea is that this will teach you how to navigate the complex process of learning about bank accounts, tax filing, and money management so you don't get fooled and become wealthy. The purpose is to increase financial literacy.
I'm going to stop this right here before we even get into it.
Okay.
And say that 26-year-olds don't care about this. They care about getting rich. They don't care about financial literacy. I don't know if this is going to turn into a get-rich-quick thing. But if you're going to start using the term financial literacy and become financially literate and care about how, they don't care about how bank accounts work. And if they do, they just Google it. So that's the first thing I'll say to this.
Guys, I have to leave you here. I'm really sad because financial copy, this is...
Oh, shit, yeah.
This is my jam. I wish I should have got this one. But I know you guys will be fine.
Oh, I'm sorry. I've loved this, Lindsay. Please enjoy the party. I hope you have a good time. I will see you soon.
See you guys.
Bye.
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 Oh, I'm sad now.
So while Lindsay's eating cake, we'll be devouring this copy.
Nice. I like it. Copy for the copy god, my friend.
Copy for the copy god. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Probably kids don't care. Well, shouldn't say kids because you're in this bracket. Young adults don't care about financial literacy in the way that maybe older people do. One thing, one note is that when it comes to writing the purpose of a piece of copy, I think the sort of education piece is not as important for you as a marketer as is understanding how does this fit into your overall funnel. So is this just an engagement email? Is this something that's driving to some sort of landing page somewhere, driving towards some other point of engagement or something like that? It is not the case that they will be so taken with this one piece of copy that it will suddenly be more literate in a meaningful way, probably, unless you've written a really excellent essay here. So, just keep that in mind, that this is it is good if this happens, but it is probably not it should not be a goal, so to speak. If you guys aren't already, but you're interested in this, seeing what these sorts of newsletters can look like, I would recommend signing up to DIY Wealth's newsletter. Sean and Lindsay run it, but it is the sort of financial literacy education type content for a younger, not old as hell audience, and they do a pretty good job. By pretty good, I mean very good, and you should definitely model the work they do.
Yeah, no, DIYwealth.com. It's definitely worth subscribing to. Very much like that. And Rod and I don't earn anything from that, by the way. We just like it.
We just like it. I just
like
read
it.
his emails because I like them.
Yeah, exactly. All right. I mean, so what did it say what this is? Like what this copy is?
It's an email.
It's an email, okay.
Mhm.
So do you want to read this?
Yeah, and I will just read until we get to like kind of a hiccup, and then we can like talk about it.
Yeah.
We have two, so we have this and one last thing to do in the next 20 minutes.
And that's short, so yeah, we can cover both these.
Yeah, and the next one is literally just he wants some help looking at headlines because we critiqued his piece last week.
Cool.
So that'll be quick, but just keep that in mind. We want like 5 or so minutes for that.
Nice.
All right, so subject is things you can start learning now to become financially literate as Gen Z by a Gen Z. When I entered college for the first time, I was so excited to feel and experience new things in my life, but after spending 2 or 3 months, I began to experience something I couldn't believe, nor will you. I'm going to tell you a short story. If you find yourself in the story, you'll be well rewarded. If you don't find yourself in the story, I will make it worth your while to change your mind.
Okay.
Allow me to explain.
No, I need to stop, Rod. There's a hiccup. There's many hiccups.
Okay, let's go.
And I'm gonna be brutally honest. So let's start with the subject line. Things you can start learning. Okay, so first thing, things you can start learning. If I'm 20 to 26 and I want to be wealthy, which I think I'm gathering is the target audience. I know you wrote up there, which I think was the main point, is that someone who wants to get wealthy is a young person. I don't want to learn anything. I don't want to learn. I want to learn things. I don't want to do multiple things. I want to find the one thing that's going to make me rich right now. I want someone to tell me that all I have to do is X and it's going to be wealthy. I don't want to start learning things. I think that's where you're going to start having a bit of a problem with targeting with this, because I think on the one hand, you want to target people who are genuinely interested in becoming literate and, learning about investing and bank accounts and credit cards, like on the one hand. But on the other hand, you want to target people who want to get like wealthy. This crowd are going to be driven away by get rich quick stuff. This crowd are not going to care about like putting any work in to do stuff. So might be a bit of a mismatch here. But the first thing, really, things you can start learning by how to become financially literate as a Gen Z. I don't want to learn if I'm a get rich quicker, really. Like I don't have to start learning a bunch of things. Financially literate to me makes it sound like I'm gonna, I guess, learn about how finance works, which again is not exciting. I want to show that, I'm going to get rich, or I'm going to have financial freedom, or I'm going to be able to, own a yacht in Hawaii. And then as a Gen Z, I guess I am Gen Z. I think I'm not actually sure. I do not identify myself as a Gen Z. I've never referred to myself as Gen Z. I feel like that's something that only older people refer to my generation as. So I don't know. That might just be me, although I don't know.
I will say, whether or not you identify as it, I have never heard someone call someone else a Gen Z. Like, you could be someone who was born in Gen Z, you are a part of Gen Z, but you're not like, Gen Z is not a noun that people
just
like operate as.
I would just say in your 20s.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that's pretty universal, Alex. I know the term Gen Z is. I like to not call yourself that. Okay, good. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, definitely agree with that, Laura.
Yeah. Okay. So, how do I put this? I think the larger lesson to take away here, and it's something that I'm seeing like going ahead, and so I'm just going to like cast a wide net right now and say one of the most important things as a copywriter is to be able to speak in the language that your audience speaks. And so while it is not a huge thing to say as Gen Z by a Gen Z, if the people to whom you're speaking don't identify with the words you're saying to describe them, they're going to feel like more distant from what you're saying, which means they're going to be less likely to trust what you're saying, which means they're less likely to do the things that you want them to do or to believe you when you make claims. And so it is really important to, one, do research so you understand their language, but two, like, be very, very careful when you're writing so you don't sort of slip up when trying to like make your case. I see that also like in this whole section here, like, I'm going to tell you a short story. If you find yourself the story, you will be well rewarded. If you don't find yourself the story, I will make it worth your while to change your mind. Don't like ask for permission to tell a story. Just tell the story. And if they and you have to have enough confidence and like faith in yourself to write something compelling, that the assumption is that they're just going to believe you. Because if you have to hedge it with like, you might not believe me, but like you might, like you're killing your credibility before you've even tried to establish it. And that kind of, it makes for weak writing.
Yeah, and I think that something that I will just address, which it's not, it's not a nice thing to address necessarily, but I think, I think something, a copy that we certainly try to do is be realistic and be real with you. This, just reading this and just skimming it, it reads like it was written by someone who maybe English isn't their first language, or certainly that they haven't yet grasped a flow of writing. And that makes it it just trips you up. So if we were going to go through this in line edit, we'd be doing it for a long time, because it's a case of there's a lot of stuff that doesn't quite grammatically make sense, or that the sentences are a bit warped. So I think instead for you, it would be better, one, to just read more copy, which I mean is a piece of advice for everyone watching. Read more copy and see how it's written, and start to get those kind of flows and sentences into your mind, like, i.e., how do things fit together? What kinds of sentence structures are being used? Does it make it easy for me to read? When I read it out loud, does it flow well? Read copy like that, because it's going to help you start to reflect in your own copy, first of all, and then make sure you read stuff out loud afterwards, because you might start to find yourself going, as I'm sure we will when we read on, like, tripping up a little bit. So before we go any further, just consider that, and everyone watching this, please consider that, because it does really make a difference, especially when you're trying to pitch to someone or get clients.
Yeah. Okay. It's funny. Yeah. This is one of those cases though where normally we think about it from like sort of like top level down, but the sort of need for line edits is like so much that like, because like the lack of like smoothness with the text itself impairs the actual functionality of the text itself.
Yeah, I agree. And that's why I wanted to bring it up as well. It's just the first thing to say is that, that's something, just in reality, if you want to be a copywriter, you need to confront, and you need to make sure that your grasp of like just writing itself is at an okay level.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to do something that we've literally never done before on one of these streams, and I'm just going to add some like suggestions in here, because like the stuff like you change isn't even like that big. So it's like when I started college, not for the first time, when I started college, I was excited to experience new things. But after just 3 months, I began to experience something I never believed would happen. Please. Dude.
I mean, yeah, look at what Rod has just done there. Like these are line edits, and it doesn't make the copy good, but it makes it more legible, basically. It makes it readable.
I made many friends in college. Okay.
Yeah, the thing with this is that there's a lot of stuff we could go into. The structure, the story, the flow. What do you mean by that? What bit, JC? Did JC write this, or is this someone else?
No, someone else wrote this.
Okay. JC, would you mind clarifying about what you're asking about, please? Yeah, this is clearly the other thing to kind of note is that this is an email. What is the purpose of this email? Which is what Rod brought up earlier. Like, is it going to a sales page, for example? Therefore, would it be more attuned to be a lift email where you're just trying to intrigue someone, get them to click using that DIC formula we talked about, DIC, disrupt, intrigue, click. Or is it an email that you're giving someone if they've just signed up for a newsletter? So is this meant to be a kind of relationship builder where you're setting out the expectation for them or letting them know more about you as a brand? That's why it's important for us to know the purpose, because it's very difficult to critique copy without knowing what it's trying to do. But immediately, even just so I've been talking to you guys like that, you can already see how much Rod has cut out. And as he said, usually we go the other way, where we start with the ideas and then we move down to the structure, and then we move down to the specifics of the wording. But this is highlighting really, if you are not used to writing a lot yet, or you haven't read a lot of copy and kind of been able to repeat how things are written, this is what really would need to be done to make it readable, and to make it have flow when you're reading it out loud. So, I mean, Rod, like, as someone who's an experienced writer, how much have you just taken out, and how long has that taken you to do?
To cut it's funny because, like, once you start cutting, it gets, like, really, really easy. But, like, here's how do you do this with markup on here?
Don't you just have to accept all the changes? Unless you're showing me a way that, in which case you've changed my life. Review suggested edits. Can you really do that?
There's cool. I think this will just.
No,
I can say accept all.
Preview accept all.
Oh, preview accept all. Okay, there we go.
Dude, I didn't know you could do that. That's awesome.
There we go.
Oh.
I know you can do this in Word also. And so then it just shows.
Oh man, that's like I learned Control A on stream, and now I've learned that. So awesome.
Yeah, and so, like, we've turned. I guess there's no way to, like, do this side by side, but, like, we just, like, cut out half of it because it just wasn't doing anything.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think really we have to move on from that.
Yeah.
I think what I would recommend doing for this is that we start talking about the idea and targeting the audience and who you're writing to, but definitely something to go away and consider is read more copy, and just read more books and have a look at writing and how to structure things so they flow well, and make sure that you read out loud. That's, like, a really important. Mateus has just said it as well. Like, read copy out loud. I say this, like, not even just as a non-native. As a native English speaker, read copy out loud. I say this to all my juniors. Before you give anything to me, if you give it to me and you haven't read it out loud, then I'm going to be pissed off, because one, it's a waste of my time, but two, I will find things that you could have caught just by going, oh, right. Because, and this is 100% true, your mind, if you've written something and you intended it to be a certain way, your mind will then skip over mistakes that you don't notice because you've written it and you've already read it 50 times, and you will make the same mistake every time when you're reading it. That is just what happens. The moment you read it out loud, a switch flips in your head because you're using a different part of the brain to vocalize something. So you notice things that you didn't notice before because you're being forced to go over it and express it in a different way, not just your, mind's voice. It then becomes, oh, right, I never noticed that before. So you're suddenly seeing what other people who are going to read the copy would have seen potentially the first time. So make sure you read your copy out loud every time.
Yeah, and I will say too, like, it's really easy to think of this as, like, in English as a second or third language problem, but honestly, I have read so many native English speakers writing that's just god awful, and it's even more difficult to critique those people's work because the idea of, like, questioning their ability to express themselves in English is, like, so much more offensive to those people sometimes that, like, they're way less receptive to these critiques. And so if you're someone out there where you're still working on your English, or you're still working on your English writing, you should not feel bad about that, because this is something that everyone struggles with, and you might actually have an easier time fixing your writing than someone who is a native speaker. So, it's just one of those skills that we all are working on throughout our entire lives. I'm not a perfect writer, and I've been doing this for a while.
100%. And I mean that there's quite a few other things I clearly could see we could talk about in this copy. Do you want to know these truths? Here they are. And then just listing out a bunch of facts, and then also basically having a go at the reader, saying we spend a lot of money on things that don't matter, like buying expensive, like you're talking to someone potentially who does those things. So they're going to be like, well, why are you saying this to me? I don't want to be told that I'm wrong. I want to be told that the system is wrong or that it's someone else's fault. So there's a lot of stuff we could go into here, but generally speaking, it's the writing needs to improve. Actually, how it is written, the grammar and how it flows. The targeting, the idea of the copy needs to be reviewed, i.e., do I actually know who I'm targeting? And is this a realistic group to want the thing that I'm giving them? And 3, what is the purpose of this email? You need to know what it's actually trying to do, where you're trying to push people to. That's just 3 things. Rod, I don't want to spend any more time on this because I know we have one more to do, and I know we said we'd have a hard cut off at 5 EST. But Rod has just given you a fantastic example of like how to line edit copy so it makes sense. So you be very grateful to him for that, because that is actually hopefully going to help you look at what you had before and what you had afterwards and what the differences are.
Yeah, and just like one thing that might be super helpful for you to do. Who was this again? This was Ishir. Is literally just open those 2 windows side by side and read your version, read my version, and like try to think about how they're different. And if you want to send me a message about like maybe some tips on how to like actually work on that or like learn some of those skills or internalize them, I would be more than happy to talk to you about that. But yeah,
awesome. All right, last thing.
Next up, so Van / Sean, the other Sean, sent in a second part, like a headline piece to an email that he sent us last week, I think. He had some welcome and sales emails, and he says he needs some help with determining the market awareness and market sophistication of local people who need their carpet cleaned. And also he'd like some help with strengthening these headlines. You probably have not seen his emails, right, Alex?
No.
Okay.
Do
you have any tips?
Sorry, go on.
I was gonna say, I'll go find it for you, but do you have any general tips for helping him figure out the market awareness and sophistication of local people who need their carpet cleaned?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't do it for carpet cleaning, which I was going to ask, was Luke on the stream that you did this? Mm-hmm. I'm sure he mentioned this, but he wrote a sales page which was for a carpet cleaning service, like an affiliate. Did he mention that?
I don't remember if he mentioned it during the stream. I actually knew that he did that though.
Yeah, like so I imagine he'd have stuff to say about this, but I've done basically this for many local businesses. I want to say maybe a dozen or more, maybe more. I can't remember at this point, but so yeah, general tips for writing for local people or local businesses, just determining the market awareness and market sophistication. I'm gonna be real here. The vast majority of local service businesses, so plumbers, carpet cleaners, people who install things, carpenters, tilers, that kind of stuff. The general level of, I guess you would call it stage of awareness is, this thing just went wrong. I need it fixed. I'm going to Google what I think I need. That's what it is. Like it's no deeper than that. It is. So for example, your washing machine is leaking. Plumber, right? So you're solution aware in the, your washing machine broke. That's the problem. And there's water everywhere. That's the problem. But you know that a solution for that is a plumber. So what's the first thing I'm going to do? I'm going to Google plumber, Cambridge. Going to just have a look at my local area. That is what 90% of people will do. The other 10% will go on Facebook and say, hey, does anyone know a good plumber? So probably a bigger percentage than 10%, to be honest. That basically goes for every service-based business. Carpet cleaning. So majority of people are going to get carpet. I never did carpet cleaning, but majority of people who are going to get their carpets cleaned either have just had a big fucking stain put on their carpet, which is annoying. So they're going to be like, carpet cleaner, local. Or Cambridge or, Massachusetts, or that's probably not local, but, whatever. Or it's going to be someone who is moving house and wants to get the deposit back. So they need to make sure everything's nice and spotless. Or they're going to be like neat freaks. And that's probably not going to be many people because guess what? Neat freaks already have a carpet cleaner that they go to. They don't come along very often, like neat freaks.
We actually had a whole tangent about that where I said that that people who own carpet cleaners may be more likely to hire carpet cleaners because they have already experienced the horrors of trying to clean their own carpets with of like deep cleaner. Because that's happened to me where I've like both had one and tried to rent one and then also hired someone to do it because it was just so terrible.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was a conspiracy of the carpet cleaning industry to put out faulty products so that then people buy them and then still hire someone. Anyway, yeah. I don't know. It's the kind of conspiracies we come up with on Copy That, the carpet cleaning conspiracy. Anyway, so that is the general tip from your local services. The majority of business that local service is going to get is because something goes wrong and they suddenly have that need. It's not a need they have all the time. It's suddenly they have that need and they Google, X local, right? Carpet cleaners local, plumbers local, stuff like that. So best ways to get in front of people is local advertising, is Google Ads, 100%. Without not even a question, Google Ads. Do you both have any other rules of thumb regarding market sophistication and market awareness? I mean, so I don't know if you know what market sophistication and market awareness is. I don't know if you're asking what they are or if we have rules of thumb for it. Market sophistication just means how aware, which I know is kind of stupid because there's market awareness, but like how aware is the market of what is out there already? That's basically what market sophistication is. So dieting is an extremely sophisticated market because everyone knows that like there are a ton of diets out there and they know that weight loss pills don't work because guess what? They came around. So, if we were back in, even like the 1920s, and we put an ad in the newspaper that said, hey, diet pills, because the market wasn't sophisticated, because there weren't a lot of weight loss products about, people are going to eat that up and be like, oh my God, whoa, pills that make you lose weight? Yeah, I got to have that. Then after some months, some years, other companies latch on to that and go, we'll start doing that as well. So then all of a sudden, all these companies are making promises. People are buying the pills and then they're either disappointing or not working or just straight up harming people. So then people become wise to that. So then these advertisers have to do something different, either because competitors have joined and they want to be different from the competitors or because the market isn't as respondent as they used to be. So then they'll start doing special offers on the thing, or they'll start making slightly different angles for it. And that goes on and on. I'm sure you can just Google market sophistication and see that. But like that is basically what market sophistication is, i.e. how many things have come before you. For local businesses, it doesn't really matter because local businesses really just get business from people Googling it. Rod, were you going to say something?
Yeah, no, I have a tip for this. I because it is one thing to have an awareness. Like I think that it is easy to kind of have a sense of where people are, but one really easy way of like getting a better sense of what that actually means in terms of what people know about your product in particular is just to like ask somebody that kind of fits into the cohort of people you would like to buy your services. So example of this is something I do all the time. Is like when I'm thinking of a copy idea, I will ask my girlfriend, who is very much not in advertising, in marketing or whatever, what she thinks of an idea or what comes to mind when I mention something like this. And she will be like, oh, that's really dumb, or that's really offensive, or that's really whatever. And then I'll ask a bunch of other like friends or people who are kind of related to like whatever offer I'm working on, because those people sort of unbiased, uneducated take on whatever it is I'm thinking is going to better reflect like how the market's actually going to respond than talking to other advertisers or in your case other people who are in carpet cleaning.
I mean, just if you can clarify, Sean, what when you say rules of thumb, like what do you mean in identifying what it is or in utilizing it once you have that knowledge? Because there's quite, it can be taken quite a few ways, that question. Apologies if you already knew what that was, which I think you said, yes, I know to. And I just explained it, but hopefully you guys watching find that useful. And then, of course, stages of market awareness. I don't even know if market awareness and stage of awareness are the same thing or not. I'm not sure. That might be, market awareness might be a different thing to that. Stage of awareness, I think we've covered in this episode. But rules of thumb really are like, I've said this before, but the best thing you can do as a copywriter, and if you want to earn money from being a copywriter, is just like look at what isn't happening in the market yet. Look, if you're servicing, if you're trying to be a copywriter for local businesses, are their websites rubbish? Are they running any ads? Because that's basically market sophistication. If local plumbing businesses aren't even running any ads yet, you could be the first to go to one and say, "Hey, I'll run some ads for you, so you can get more people." That's not a very sophisticated market. Plumbers looking for Google ads, so you can just reach out to them and say, "I can get you more people for doing this." Tips on doing it at a bigger level than local. Like going out to just carpet cleaners generally and saying, "Hey, I can write good copy for you." Again, by the way, when we talk about carpet cleaners, what are we talking about? Are we talking about the product or are we talking about a service?
The service.
The service. About
the service. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Good. That's how I've been framing it. I mean, a carpet cleaning service is always going to be local. Always. So when you say doing it on a bigger level than local, for something like carpet cleaning, you have to do it locally. There might be a national business, but there'll be ones that have, they'll have local call outs. I can tell you that, the people who are looking for carpet cleaning are just going to Google carpet cleaning. And then the first one that comes up, as long as it looks okay and they look trustworthy and the price isn't too much over what they're expecting, they'll go with that one. So a good media buying strategy is the thing that's most important. But if you can couple that with good copy, i.e. Google ad that says, like 20% off your first carpet cleaning, or taps into the thing that perhaps people have the most worry with, i.e. again, I don't know the market at all of carpet cleaning, but I can tell you with plumbing, certainly a big thing was same day. A big thing was no call out charge if they didn't do anything, stuff like that. So if you can identify what people actually care about beyond just I need my carpets cleaned and get that in front of them straight away, that is big, because then people go click and go like, oh, right, yeah, it's a plumber, but also they do this other thing I care about at the moment, which is, no call out charge or what have you. Just for any company in the future. I mean, for identifying market sophistication for any company, the best thing to do, I mean, I'm not writing it as a sales letter. This is only for practice. That's fine. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. I think you're asking a couple of different questions. So tips on doing, I'm guessing, market sophistication or identifying market sophistication at any company in the future at a bigger level. First thing to do is Google it. Just Google the product or service that they're offering and then see what comes up. That is almost going to be the best thing for you. Because if there's a bunch of organic results, then okay, well, clearly there's quite a few people doing it, which is usually a good sign. If there are no ads, then it's like, oh, okay, so perhaps the market isn't too sophisticated because there's not many people running ads on it. Earlier on, when we typed in fashion e-commerce, there were a ton of ads come up, like 4 ads. It's a very sophisticated market because there's a lot of people doing it. If you type carpet cleaning Oklahoma or carpet cleaning USA or whatever, and there's not many ads that come up, yeah, let's do it. Carpet cleaning near me. So there you go. Like, clearly there are people doing it. So it's relatively sophisticated in that carpet cleaning companies know they could be doing this. That's good news for you because it means that you can probably get paid for doing it well. But it's bad news in the sense that you have to think of something that these guys aren't yet doing. So the market is somewhat sophisticated when you are looking at your own pitching. When you're looking at how sophisticated the market is for the carpet cleaners, for people, you can also look at these results and say, right, well, people have a few things to choose from. What kinds of messages are they getting in front of people? Is it money off? Is it percentages? Is it a guarantee? In writing for medium level businesses or DR companies?
I don't know if it changes that much. I think even for those kinds of companies, you're still doing the same type of research. You're still doing the same sort of market evaluation. The only thing that really changes there is like, one of the main things that changes there is like the way in which your message gets distributed. And so let's say you're working for, Imperial Carpet Cleaning, who has branches all over the US. Your messaging there is still going to be very similar. You're just going to have to keep in mind that it's going to be used in different markets across the country that may have different like concerns. And so in Florida, it might be about, oh, you had a hurricane come and flood your house for the 17th time this year. Hurricane carpet cleaning versus, I don't know, Michigan, your basement flooded. Basement flooded carpet cleaning. But a lot of that research in terms of market sophistication is going to be pretty similar. It's just then after you do your base level, for each individual campaign, you might be thinking about like specific applications that may resonate with audiences more or less, and then test those.
Yeah, definitely. It's something that I really want to impress upon you, Sean, because it's something that it's just a reality that you'll face doing this as a copywriter. I mean, I know you're doing this as a spec piece, but in terms of market sophistication and like stages of awareness and stuff like that, they're nice measuring sticks to use to help kind of like ground your copy. But generally speaking, don't get too caught up in them, because you will overthink and be like, right, is this too much or not enough, or am I hitting this? Generally speaking, the best thing to do, and this is for everyone watching, the best thing to do is just think about 3 things. Who's going to be reading this? What do they actually want? And what is the purpose of what I'm writing? Who's reading it? What do they want? What's the purpose? The who covers like the demographic, obviously, but also covers the reason why they're looking for something, i.e., like Rob was just saying, the basement has been flooded. What do they want? They want a service to clean their carpets now that, the water has gone, right? That's the thing they want. What is the purpose of what you're doing? Is it to book a call? Is it to, hire outright? Is it a Google ad? Is it an email, etc.? Those 3 things are going to help you ground yourself more than worrying about what the market sophistication and stage awareness is. You can get around that just by Googling things, having a look at what other companies are doing, and then talking to people in that target area, i.e. people who want their carpets cleaned. Now, when I look at your headlines, we'll move on to the actual kind of copy you've written. The first thing I'd say, lifetime carpet cleaning. Like, what is that? Is that a service that is actually offered by people? Is that something that, what does that mean? Like, you pay once and then they will clean your carpets forever whenever you ask? That to me is
that was like a deal he's running.
Deal is right. Okay, but what specifically is that deal? Because to me as a prospect, that sounds good, but in a way that like I don't really understand it. What does that mean? I can have my carpets clean for the rest of my life? And if so, surely that's going to be very expensive. Why would I go to you for this one problem I have right now and pay you $1,000 when I can do it for this guy who is only going to charge me $200? So does that offer make sense is a question you have to ask yourself, which moves slightly into offer building rather than copywriting, but it's equally important. Am I, as a prospect, going to see that and be like, well, my basement has just flooded. I want the carpet down there cleaned. I can only foresee me doing it as a one-time thing. Do I want more? Alternatively, it might be a thing that is like, you might be right. Maybe people do want lifetime. I don't know. I don't know the market at all. But that's something.
Where you are.
Sorry?
It depends on where you are. And so in some places here, like if your carpets are like getting ruined all the time because you're tracking dirt in the house, it's really rainy, it's whatever, then like you may actually feel like that is something that you need all the time. But in other places, like if you live in California where it's always sunny and it rains 2 times a year, it's something that you may never feel like you need. And so that's where it comes back to researching your audiences and thinking about, okay, what are their actual needs?
Exactly. And that's where it helps us to have the context on what the specific offer is and who it's going to. Why do they want this thing? Because if I only want my carpet cleaned once and I've not needed it for 17 years and now I need it, a thing that says lifetime carpet cleaning might just put me off and be like, okay, well, I don't need that. Because you might think, oh, that's a great offer. But actually, I think it would have the opposite effect to be like, well, I don't need a lifetime carpet cleaning. Personally, that's how I would feel. However, if, as Rod said, it's someone who gets their carpets cleaned all the time, and the market is sophisticated to the point where lifetime carpet cleaning is an offer that is out there, and you put in front of people lifetime carpet cleaning 35%, which I mean, I'm assuming is meant to be off. That's not bad. That's like, fuck it, lifetime carpet cleaning 35% off. Yeah, I'll do it. Like, I'll have a look because I know I want lifetime carpet cleaning, and it's 35% off. Awesome. But how realistic is that? I don't know, because I don't know the audience. So that's something you've got to kind of work out and put down in the context. Runaway Train. I like that name. That nearly rhymed. Could the on me be replaced with free? Maybe. Get your carpet clean for life free.
Well, it's like free after you pay the initial amount, so it's not technically free.
Could be, and also we need to consider these where these are going, what the context of this copy is. Headlines. Okay, cool. For what? Are these for Google ads? Are these for a sales page? This might have been covered in the last week. So sorry if I'm repeating everything you've heard, Sean. I do apologize.
I think
if that's the case.
Last time we saw 2 different emails and maybe a squeeze page. So I would assume it's either going on a website or in an email.
All right. Okay. Yeah. So I would say that it's not necessarily. Again, I know you've not really turned in much copy today, but like I'd say, so it's not necessarily the copy that is like broken. I think it's just the context around the copy that needs a bit more thought behind it. I.e., does this make sense for a spec piece? Is this something that the target audience will actually want or realize is something that they need? I'm just lacking context. If I was here last week, I might have more context on this and be like, oh, right, okay, cool.
I think that gets to a good point, though, in that one of the more useful things to do if you're building a spec piece is to actually build out and conceptualize a full offer so that we know what the hell you're talking about and we can give you good advice for that. But 2, so that you have a better understanding of how it is that your imaginary business is going to function, what it is they're really selling. And then we can have a basis on which to evaluate. Did you do a good job framing this offer?
This is a complete tangent, but I just want to go back because I just scrolled up when I saw a question that we didn't answer, which was just Victoria who asked, how do you know what to emphasize in all caps in copy? Which is a relatively specific question, but it totally depends on what effect you want to have. I would say try to reserve caps for something that you think is the most striking or controversial. I try to reserve cap. I don't always do this because I'm not perfect, far from it, but I will try to reserve caps for when I'm trying to make a point that is very guttural, that is very you are being betrayed, things like that, things where it's extremely emotionally poignant to say something to the reader. One I used recently, so I work, one of the main markets I work with at the moment is pharmacists, and I'm not going to go into the whole pharmacy industry in the UK, but there's a big doctors and pharmacists. They're a little bit of a rivalry, and one thing that a top doctor in the UK said recently, and this is where research pays off, and it pays off to just be in the arena that your prospects are in. A top doctor in the UK recently said, pharmacists, basically they said pharmacists are doctors on the cheap, right? They're basically just cheap versions of doctors, right?
Damn.
It's kind of what he said, or they said. I can't remember if it was a man or woman. It's kind of what they said. And obviously pharmacists were pretty pissed off with this. So an email that is going out has either gone out or is going out, is one of the things I capitalized is just are you a doctor on the cheap, fucking all caps, quotation marks, just being this is fucking something that's bad, because they have too many caps. It's shit all over the place. If you have one thing in caps, that's something wow, I've got to read that. But that is not universal advice. That's just how I use it. Rod, I don't know if you would have any.
Yeah. So I was actually just thinking about this. I definitely have an order of operations for the different sort of stylistic effects and which is strongest. So for me, it's maybe underline / italics. So it's weakest to strongest. So underline / italics, bold, all caps in terms of strength.
Like that.
And so maybe the easiest way to think about this is if you were sending an email or a text to a friend, how would you think about what the situations in which you would use those different effects to as a litmus test for okay, well, what is the feeling that I'm trying to convey and when should I use these different things? Because really what all these things are doing is indicating to the reader the way in which they should be hearing your copy. And so if you really want someone to hear something as outrageous or big or loud, have an all caps sentence. It's obnoxious if you do everything in all caps, so you have to use it sparingly, but like when you want that to be the effect, use that. Bold is like striking. It's a little bit less loud, but it stands out from the other text. It is bold. That's the joke. So similar thing, but yeah, I think a lot of it is a vibe. And so as you write more and more copy, you will start to develop a sort of style. And, you know, especially if you're writing for the same readership all the time, you can kind of train people to react a certain way. And so I wouldn't worry about it too much, but just generally know that like all caps is very loud, bold is pretty loud, and other things are varying degrees of loud.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good way to frame it. You always have a system, Rod. You always like know when it comes to words. I know Rod's got a system.
Mm-hmm.
All right, awesome. Sean, I hope you're happy with that. I know that was kind of a meandering answer. Fuck, we've gone 20 minutes over. Jesus.
Yeah,
that was a meandering answer. Apologies, I wasn't there last week to have a look at what you did. Again, perhaps the other guys can give you better context on it because they were there. But I would definitely say main summary of that would be don't get too caught up in having to be like, right, this is market sophistication, this stage of awareness. Like it helps to know for sure, but when you're dealing with like a real business and like I need to get in front of people, the most important things are who am I writing to, what is it they want, and what is the purpose of my copy. Those three things can guide you through basically anything else, because then you start to realize this offer doesn't match up, or we just need to get in front of them first, or actually there are a bunch of businesses doing this.
Yeah.
Cool. Can I just post my Google Drive link for spec email in the chat? I'm sorry. I think we're going to call it a day there. I think we're going to catch up on the last bit of chat. We're going to talk some shit for a couple minutes, and then I think we're going to leave because we're already 20 minutes over.
Yeah. But if you want your thing to get reviewed next week, you can go on over to patreon.com/thecopythatshow and sign up, because we are reviewing our patrons' copy in these streams. And so, you know, if you want us to review your stuff, we can help you out with that.
Yeah. God, man, we didn't plug very much in that, I feel
We
like.
didn't plug it all. You know, we plugged one other time, but, you know.
We, okay, well, any other, well, yeah, sorry, W knows. Yeah. Sorry, that cute Westy though. In Discord, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, caps work. After much practice, you develop intuition, how much you want to use them in copy. So far, I've learned don't use them too much. Yeah, I agree with that. I think I'm still a bastard for italics. I use italics way more than I should.
I love italics.
So do I. Same with ellipses, but I actually think ellipses does make copy better. Don't care, fight me. Sean, yeah, it was great, guys. Very happy to hear that. Laura, thanks for doing this, guys. Laura, appreciate you. Thank you for being here for so long. Thank you. Want to post pieces on my upload profile? Cool. Yeah, get it. You know, if you're Patreon, get it over to the exclusive critiques channel. The next time that we don't put it in there now. I mean, you can, but like the way we do these are we will tag everyone for these streams, and then the ones that come under that we will do. Just because otherwise we have to scroll back up and find a bunch of stuff. Yeah. But yeah, this was really cool, Rod. I always love spending time with you. Same with Lindsay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1 second. Let me just get this real quick. W knows, you know, even if you know, you're not required to sign up to Patreon in order to get yourself a critique. If you just join our Discord server, we do have a public critique channel where we do community critiques. And so if you just want someone to read your copy, feel free to post it there too.
We do. Sovereign Soul Lucian says, will there be a replay? Yes, there will be. This is just a YouTube video, right? So I think it's available right away, I think, Rob?
Yep.
Is that right?
I think so. Yeah.
So I think basically as soon as we end, you should just be able to hit replay and it will be on YouTube.
Yeah, you should be able to rewind right now. You could pause me right here, mid-sentence.
Do that.
And then go back to the beginning.
But now you wouldn't hear what we're saying right now, so maybe don't do that. Evan, thanks y'all. Great as always. Appreciate you. Yeah. And then W No says, yeah, but I'd like pros like you to comment on it, not randoms. We're not pros. We just talk shit. Yeah, we don't really write copy. I'm actually a burger cook. And Rod runs the mafia in
it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Tree Town Mafia.
Okay, okay, joining Patreon. Well, I'd love to hear that as well.
Well, that was easy.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yeah, to see how easy it is to get people on. Really
Wow,
appreciate
just
that.
plug your
seriously.
stuff.
But yeah, just for a second, patrons watching, if you're watching this live or watching the replay, thank you so much. This genuinely just started. I wasn't even here when this started originally. It started as like 3 friends just kind of critiquing stuff. Then it became like, 4 friends, and then 5 friends, and it somehow snowballed into a business. We're super grateful we get to spend time. I'll be real. I don't have much time at the moment. I am my schedule was just fucking solid. So I love being able to cut out like 2 hours every now and then to just sit down with you guys and talk copy. And the patrons, you actually justify us being able to do this, because unfortunately, like obviously, I guess time is money. So knowing we're earning money from this, I was like, cool, we can spend more time doing it, and we love doing it. And we hope you guys like it too.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It's mega fun. And the last thing I have to say is StreamYard's fucking awesome. Oh,
It really is.
God, this is so much easier. If this is all we have to do every time, is just fucking log in and then
Just
click
log
buttons.
in. Yeah. So you guys can't see this, but we switched over from using OBS to a paid program online called StreamYard, and it makes the streaming process like super, super easy. And I can just like click these buttons. Oh, it's just me. Now we're side by
Oh,
side.
I didn't even know we could do that.
Now we're next to each other. You can also do things like this, where you make one person bigger or the other
like
person
this one.
bigger,
I like this one.
Yeah.
What is this?
like this too.
Wow. Look at this, guys. You see this text here? Dude, this is awesome. Oh, okay, StreamYard. I'll affiliate you link
Yeah.
you guys.
So
If you
last
wanna
time,
sponsor
if you
us.
click the banners tab on the side, you can see all the banners we have, and so the Patreon one is one of them. But
Oh,
Sean
no
had so much
way.
fun last week that there were people talking in chat, and he made banners of the random people talking.
Whoa.
And so
what,
yeah,
we
you can make your own custom one.
So if I did that. Oh, bringing back the classics.
Well done.
Why was that the first thing that came in my head? I was like, okay, what's a popular phrase?
It fits in a mug.
Let's not add that. It fits in a mug. Copy that mug. Fits in a mug. All right. Okay, I'm just being a child now and playing around with this. Thanks, guys. How do I get chat back up? I'll comment so we go. Alex is growing a collection of exercise equipment. It's shrinking, actually. I just have a row machine now. So yeah, it's going down. I joined a gym so I can actually go somewhere and exercise, because at the moment it was all in my office, and we keep the rest of the house really tidy. And have a lot of other stuff, so we don't have really a space for all that. Although they are kind of dispersed now, but yeah. To end the stream, can you address the advantage of italics for a few seconds? I take it's because italics catch the eye much better. Fucking, I don't know. I just like them. I don't think it just when I read something in italics, it emphasizes it. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
You go like,
here's the thing,
Yeah.
and this is just the absolute reason. I don't care. Well, it's gonna be a scientific argument. I don't care what anyone other copywriter, guru, whatever bullshit, catchphrase, jargon, whatever says. Here's the real thing. All this stuff we're talking about, the stylization, so underline, italics, bold, all caps. The reason that those things work is because it stands out from the other text on the page and it catches people's eyes. Anything you do, whether that is having like a line on a page that's literally just like one word, anything you do to emphasize certain words, certain sentences, certain phrases is going to draw people's attention to that text. And as copywriters, we want to, our whole shtick is basically using words to kind of take people on an experience so that they want to eventually buy the thing. In the process of doing so, we're not just saying, hey, pay attention to this call to action. We're saying, hey, pay attention to this phrase or this sentence because we think this is really important. And if we write in a way that helps you feel like that thing is really important, you're going to be more likely to feel like that thing is really important. So when we're making choices about these things, we're making choices in attempt to give our readers a very specific experience. And so, like, yes, it is catching the eye, but it's catching the eye for a certain purpose.
Yeah, I just like the way it looks. It fits in a mug. But yeah, no, for me, here's another quick fire tip. Laura, thank you very much. Love you. Have a good night. Another quick fire tip is that as copywriters, we often talk about how effective long copy is and how long copy almost always outperforms short copy when it's continues to be relevant. But something else to remember is, even though copy can be long, it should never look long, because the vast majority of people, when they see copy that looks long and it looks just like a text and it looks monotonous and boring, they will not read it. Bolding, italics, a few underlines, spacing, paragraphs, ellipses, fantastic way to make what would have been a massive wall of text suddenly look readable. And it can be it can say the exact same thing. All it is, it's spaced out a little bit. Things are bolded, and to the human eye, it looks like there's more terrain there. There's more for me to look at. It's easier for me to go through it. It's not like just one boring, book. It's short little things that are each going to impart some kind of benefit to me. So that's another little tip. That's why people will often break things up and use bolds and ellipsis and caps. And it's very true. You'll find yourself, if you look at a big block of text, you go, I can't be asked for that. But you look at, a few lines and one-liners and bolds and stuff, you're like, oh, okay, cool, what's this? So yeah, make sure your copy doesn't look long. It can be long, but it shouldn't look hard to read. The
copy should fit in a mug.
Copy should fit in a mug. Okay, Rod, Jesus.
Let's call it there.
Let's call it a day. I've got a packed day tomorrow, and it's 10:30. I don't know what I don't know. I don't know anymore. I don't know what I've got to do. And sorry, go on.
I was gonna say, before we leave though, there's something happening soon, right?
Is there? Yeah, you know what? I think there might be. I think there may be a full raw 5-member copy that episode coming out.
Happening live, you say?
Might be that. Might be even happening with StreamYard.
So if people wanted to watch the full Copy That show with all 5 Copy That members talking about Copy That things, where might they catch that?
Well, here's what you need to do. This YouTube channel you're on right now, okay? youtube.com/copy that. Just subscribe to it. Hit the bell. Everyone says hit the bell. Just do it. Then, slap that bell. Slap that mother bell. Then on Monday, this coming Monday, which, Rod, I don't have the date for because I'm not as clever as you. Monday the 6th. Yes. Okay. Monday the 6th at 3 p.m. EST, okay? Eastern Standard Time, or Seaboard Time. I don't actually know. Is it standard or seaboard? Standard. Cool. Eastern Standard Time. You want to get onto the YouTube channel and you want to have a look at our live stream, because we're going to do a full episode that is not like meandering and waffly like this. It's actually has a point to it. And the point is going to be how to start copywriting in 2023. Because, boy, we get a lot of people ask questions like that, and we would like to put it to bed and show you how in this year, 2023, you can start as a copywriter and know all the things that you need to know to make money from it. So it's very important to us, and we may even have a few surprise announcements and bonuses in that stream, Rod. So might be worth it.
Bonuses?
Might be. Bonus is...
No, none of those. Not on YouTube. That's for the OnlyFans.
Fit in a mug. Mine fits in a mug. Anyway.
It's a self-report.
So yeah, that's coming. Not like that. It's coming. Not like that, but it's coming. On Monday. We should end this now. But yeah, subscribe to Copy That YouTube channel. And if you want to support us, or you want the behind the scenes footage to kind of everything we do and see, I guess, like the kind of detail and get, I don't know, there's a lot of stuff on there already, Rod. I kind of forget how much there is on there, but there's everything we've ever done and put on the Patreon, which has been dozens, if not hundreds of videos and exclusive step-by-step guides. Then head over to patreon.com/the Copy That Show. Yes.
Click it.
Get that right?
Click it.
Click
It's on the
screen.
screen. You can see it.
I'm sorry.
You can just read it off the...
Tired, Rod. Click the link below on the screen to go there and you can support us. Look, the viewer count is just dropping right now.
Plummeting.
Yeah, or just subscribe to YouTube. Monday we are going to do an episode. And seriously, thank you everyone for supporting us. It does mean a lot, and we love fucking being able to do stupid shit on camera. knows Woe just joined you, Patreon. Thank you so much. Seriously appreciate that. If you need help finding anything on it, please just let us know in the Discord. I know there's a group, a link of a list of playlists there that can help you out as well. But yeah, I think it's time to end because tomorrow I've got stuff to do.
Okay. All right, guys.
All right.
Bye.
Yeah. See ya.
Thanks for tuning in.
Have a good one,
See you guys
everyone.
next
Thank
week.
you for joining. Goodbye.